I say up on Cripple Creek, she sends me if I spring a leak. She mends me, I don't even speak. She defends me, a drunkard's dream, if I ever did see one. What are the humans doing?
Do you think you're ready? Can you handle the truth? Or are you in denial and demanding more proof? They demonstrate in real time how they're spinning you lies, but no one pays attention, no one opens their eyes. They walk around like zombies with their head in the mobiles, signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile, yeah. Signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. So if you think you're ready, you don't need more proof. Conspiracy deniers are denying the truth. They fabricate our problems and pretend to provide the best solution, but we all know they lied. They lied about the weapons and they lied about health. They lied about the fact that they're transferring the wealth. You should really notice how they're pushing the fear. Keep everybody terrified and not thinking clear. Yeah. Everybody's not thinking clear. Keep everybody terrified. Yeah, thinking and not thinking. Keep everybody terrified and not thinking clear. When you do, you realize that this is their trick. It's getting really stupid now, they're taking the mick. Said, do you think you're ready? Can you handle the truth? Or are you in denial and demanding more proof? They demonstrate in real time how they're spinning you lies, but no one pays attention, no one opens their eyes. They walk around like zombies with their head in the mobiles, signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile, yeah. Signaling their virtues on their profile. Hey.
Good. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's not supposed to be up there. It's supposed to be this way, you silly monkey. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am totally doing amateurish mistakes tonight. Welcome to Sasquatch Shills for Sasquatch Shills, so you don't have to. Tonight, we have Juicy J himself over here. What are we going to be calling you tonight, by the way?
Just Jay is fine. Just to make
Jay,
it easy.
okay, bud. Excellent. You can call me Squatch because it's much easier to say than all them SSSSSSS.
I got you, bro.
All right, so let's start off with the very, very basics. How long have you been doing YouTube, just in general?
Just in general. So if you mean just being on the YouTube streets, I started on the YouTube streets around 2022, about summer of 2022. So around July, August is when I hit the YouTube streets, when I started just coming on to different panels, talking to people, debating people, genuinely arguing, panel hopping, getting into like, crazy shit late at night. Right. And then I really didn't start to do a channel and produce content until actually almost a year now. It'll be a year in 17 days when I started producing content. Mm-hmm.
Now, so a little over a year for your content and a little more than 2 years of actual boots on the ground kind of diddling, right? All right, so now you're doing the YouTube thing. Okay, so tell everybody what you're doing as the YouTube thing.
So, guys, I'm Jay Rillo. My channel is called Jay's Hot Topics. The show is called Juicy Jay's Hot Topics. I've been doing this now since actually almost a year. The first stream, I believe, was on July 26th of 23. I did a debate on the Ukraine war. That was about an 8-hour stream, close to. Most of the time I cover geopolitics is what I like to cover, mostly because when I came onto the YouTube streets, I started arguing that a lot. I also cover U.S. politics. I do cover local politics depending on what's trending. I also do trending topics, current events. I'll do debates sometimes if the debate is really good. Sometimes I do pop culture. I'll do like movie reviews sometimes, or I'll do maybe something that's going on in pop culture and social media, maybe something that's affecting people, be it something involving not only something in that's socio-political, or maybe it'll be something like a trending topic that's like a hot topic. Like, for example, I did a topic one time on male suicide, which was a big deal. There was something called a friendship crisis that I did. So those are the kind of topics I also cover. I do a broad range of things. I do try to focus mostly on geopolitics and U.S. politics because that's the thing I like to follow the most. I go to other channels that I debate this and I talk about this on. But for the most part, though, I really will cover anything. In fact, a lot of the times when I do cover content, I let the conversation flow. I like to let people talk. Most times, if I allow the conversation to flow in whatever direction it's going, I'm able to find windows. And once I'm able to find those windows, then I'm able to get us back on track onto the original topic. Most of the time, or rather, I should say, some of the time, especially recently, I've been going into more socio-racial politics recently because of who I associate with the political organization that I'm affiliated with. But for the most part, it's going to be some form of politics, whether it be world politics or U.S. politics. I do enjoy occasionally getting into the. Okay, we can cuss on here, right, Sasquatch? I'm assuming we can.
You big fucking freak.
So I do like to get into the fuck shit sometimes. I'll have a lot of characters who will come on. There are times I do not only debate religion, but usually just talk about religion. In fact, I've had 2 separate prophets come onto my channel who have actually given us prophecies that they say are going to come to fruition eventually. And then we end up having what was supposed to be a 3-hour stream talking about like the Ukraine war or what's going on in Gaza or what's going on in Myanmar, ends up turning into a conversation about the end of days, about a nuclear device that's being put in Chicago, about 4 Hasidic Jews who are collecting children to get the 144,000 together. So yeah, it ends up being quite a bit. There are a lot of things that I will talk about, a lot of different topics that we will cover. Most of the times, you see it in my tagline, right? I cover as many topics as possible, but most times people just keep talking. And I don't have a problem with that. In fact, I'd rather we go way off topic and have a great conversation and the conversation flow for hours and people go in, they come out, than me try to force the topic and be really stringent about it. And then people are disengaged and they don't want to watch. You see what I'm saying?
It takes some effort to be able to herd cats on YouTube. It's not something you're born able to do. There's not a single panel artist up here that sits and manages panels that woke up one morning with just the ability to manage panels. And there's some people who are unmanageable. Sometimes they're unmanageable for perfectly logical reasons, and sometimes they're unmanageable because they're trolling. So you have to be able to discern between those. Now, how often do you do panels? Do you have particular time shows? Do you have a particularly loved topic?
So the topics I like to cover the most, like I said, are usually geopolitics or U.S. politics. Those are the things I will cover the most because that's how I started off my channel. Do I have particularly timed shows? No. Most times it's what comes up. So over here, what you're going to see right now, this actually occurred. Like I said before, we're going into more trending topics when Ryan Garcia decided to pop off at the mouth. That was more of a current event trending topic kind of deal. That's right. More of like socio-political because it goes more into the race realism sphere, race political sphere that I've been getting more involved in. National Alternative is actually my boy's channel, my boy Andre's channel, and he and I will do collabs quite often. Actually, he does great work over there, guys. National Alternative, check him out.
I really appreciate collaboration and content creators mixing their pollen around, if you will.
Oh yeah.
So you cast a really wide net, is what you're saying.
I do cast a really wide net, but I try to keep it at least in some way political because I like to shout out to RC, bro. It's been a while.
What's up?
I really like.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go through chat right quick before
Okay.
it becomes difficult to do. We got Woody Johnson gets the gold. Ajot doesn't qualify for silver because she's a Tuesday showrunner. Watt Life gets the silver, and Andy Pickle gets the bronze. Welcome in, folks. Appreciate y'all coming through. I would like for y'all to share this stream to a cool jazz group if you happen to know one. Just go to Reddit, drop this link somewhere interesting or confusing, or send it to a prayer group that you are particularly hating on right now. Jess, welcome in. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming by. Smoking in G Sharp just subscribed to you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Claris has wandered in. We got RC. Can you say that word for me?
I believe that's Giro.
Giro. Okay. Samuel Giro, welcome to the chat. Rashu, good to see you, bud.
Salute, Rashu.
All right. So the way this goes is we are going to discuss your channel for the next 45 minutes or so.
Let's do it.
After that, I'm going to end the stream on your channel and anyone else who has joined and wants to stream it. And after that, I will drop the StreamYard link in chat, and anybody that wants can come up and come discuss things with us. During Sasquatch Shills, under most panel conditions, I'm a fairly wild spirit. But when I'm doing Sasquatch Shills, we do not troll the guest. So go after Ajot or something. I don't know what to tell you.
Trust me, bro. Trolling is part of the game.
Who is this?
That's Andre. Yes, that's Andre.
Okay.
So we did a collab. So whenever we do a collab, it'll either be on my show or on his show, and we'll share one another's streams. This happened to be on his show, but I reached out to him and said, "Hey, listen, I really want to do this topic." So he put the thumbnail together, and we decided to go. We actually share a StreamYard. We're both part of the same political organization, so we have a shared StreamYard. And he had the thumbnail, and he created the thumbnail and used his intro for that night. And we decided to cover this topic on Ryan Garcia. So what happened here was Ryan Garcia basically went on Twitter Spaces, and he was drunk as hell. For those of you who know about Ryan Garcia, the boxer, he is a really eccentric person. He's probably got some mental issues, actually, I think. And coupled that with alcohol, and he dropped the N-bomb a lot of times and talked really bad on George Floyd. And Andre and I decided to talk about it. And it got heated, yes, but that just happens when he and I get together, and we talk about these conversations. We get into really controversial topics because we like to do that. He and I had the same kind of eccentric energy, which really works back and forth. And this happened to be one of those streams. It worked out really well. Most times I don't always do collabs. Usually he and I will do our own thing when it comes to streaming. But this happened to be one of those times where right place, right time, and the magic just flared. So we went with it. And I enjoy doing that, actually. He's a really cool dude. You guys,
that's a good deal. Do you find that type of stuff difficult to work with other people like that?
Most times. Go ahead.
With him notwithstanding, I mean, obviously you can work with him.
Oh yeah, I can work with him. Usually he makes it really easy. And plus he and I, we talk a lot. Most times I don't have a problem working with people. I have had issues in the past working with people because you'll make certain arrangements with them, and then midway through the deal, or midway through a stream, or if a stream is really popping and money's really flowing, all of a sudden they want to change things up on you. They want to move the goalpost on an agreement. That does happen. I have done collabs in the past where they just weren't flowing well, or their audience wasn't really receptive, or I've had people who just weren't cooperative in the style that I stream, or they really didn't try to work with me in the style that they stream. So
right,
it doesn't always work out well, but you just got to be able to read with people. I'm a water sign, so I like to go with the flow. Go ahead.
There's a lot to be said about style. When you're collaborating, like take Ajot on Tuesday night, she likes to do things that are creepy, unexpected, surprising, whatever, right? But Captain Curmudgeon on Sunday night, he wants to do a political pundit type show, and he wants to do like an intro monologue. Then he wants to follow it up with some discussion on topics and a couple of particular stories. And then we do something from history. And, I'm looking for a weather girl if anybody's got a suggestion, so I don't know, man. It's like when you're working with different people, you have to work with what you have. You can't change what they are or what they're going to do, right? So you just kind of got to work with what's there. You got to roll with the flow.
Yeah, and because the internet can be such a brutal place most times, people will talk bad about you with any little thing. It makes it even more difficult if you're not willing to find somebody to work with them for them. And let's be honest, when you're on the internet, you're basically exploring the world. You're connected to the world. Cyberspace is infinite. It's ever reaching. You can be anything, go anywhere, talk about anything. To be honest with you, man, you have to be willing to, like I said, go with the flow. You got to be willing to work with people who you normally wouldn't work with. Otherwise, how else are you going to be able to expand? How else are you going to be able to find people who are going to want to watch your content? And how else are you going to be able to learn more? Because one of the biggest things I've noticed about YouTube, ever since I hit the YouTube streets, is that for me, YouTube has been such a vast source of knowledge, a wealth of knowledge, because when you go on panels and you talk to people, especially when it's sectors you're not used to, you find people who are experts, or at least they know what they're talking about, or you think they know what they're talking about, and you can learn something from them. That's the biggest thing I love about panels, is that I can learn more shit, especially like me getting into geopolitics, right? Shout out to Defense Politics Asia, guy named Wyatt out of Singapore, right? He does a geopolitics panel every Saturday or Sunday. Every weekend he does it. He's been doing it now ever since the war started. I would hop on there. I'm one of the OGs, one of the first people who would hop on his panels. I would learn so much about different parts of the world that I never knew about, that I never talked about. And to me, not only is it fun to talk to people, but I get to learn new shit. I'm just somebody who's a curious person, Like I'm that person who will smoke a bowl in the middle of the night and be like, how come planets look really bright like stars in the middle of the night? Or, what did they use for toilet paper 2,000 years ago? I'll just start thinking about shit like that, and I'll want to research it, want to understand, just because I'm a curious person. That's what I do.
Right. YouTube's one of the best platforms for that kind of stuff. I mean, it's rare you come across something you can't find on YouTube, and if you can't find it, you start thinking about it a little bit. You realize it's everything. Mm-hmm. And if it's censored, then it's something either important or truly heinous.
That's true. It can be. It can be. And I noticed though, dude. And by the way, shout out to the guy in the chat who doesn't like what I'm talking about. They're my no. Honestly, they're my favorite. You know why? They fuel me. You know why? Because if you have this much energy to hate watch, it's somebody who love watches. I love seeing haters in the comments. They fuel me to keep on going. Because you know what? You always get the most flack when you're over the target. You always get the most flack when you're doing something right.
I love hater rage.
Bro, I love seeing haters in the comments, bro. I've dealt with it ever since I've been in the internet. I would hear everything.
Hold on. That's Yacht's. The Toe for Life is Yacht's old man. They got a kid together, and I fathered that child. Let me explain how. Oh. They met by way of an after dark on my channel after a Sasquatch Shills, and then they met again as some other association, and then they met back on the channel, and next thing I know, they're shacked up. And so I created a kid through my YouTube powers.
Wow. Holy shit, bro. Wow. Right. Shout out to you, dude. You're a regular matchmaker.
Toe Daddy, that big old lump of love over there that I'm just going to rub up on like an Italian love mate. I'm telling you, you don't want to mess with me, man. I will make you so gay. This man. All right, hold on. I'm sorry. I know we're getting into my lore, not your lore. We'll get right back to your lore. Just give you a second.
It's all good. It's all good.
This man over here. No, not you. Toe for Life. This dude here. Hold on. Let me fix things because I'm screwing the
You're starting to bot a bit. I don't know if it's on. I don't know if it's on my end or your end. You're starting to bot a bit. Am I botting out?
You're not.
To get a little body.
Anyway, I don't know what I can do about it. Let's see if there's anything that can be done.
I just wanted to see whether or not you were aware of it. Wanted to give you a heads up before you kept on going with the story.
Okay, so Toe for Life noticed a poster I had on my wall behind me one night. And it was something my children had managed to kite from a theater somewhere. I don't remember where exactly, but it was the new moon marquee for Twilight. And it was just one of the cool things I had in the background behind me. And somehow it just got left there for a really long time until one day, Toe for Life comes in and starts asking me why I'm supporting sparkling vampires and slightly homoerotic dog people. And so I was like, man, which side of that argument are you on? Are you Edward or Jacob? And he goes, Team Edward. And I said, Team Jacob. And ever since then, I have called him Sparkle Simp. Deep lore. There you go. That's the Sparkle Simp.
Sparkle Simp. I like that, bro. I like that, man. That's going to be the new nickname. Sparkle Simp. I like that one. Shout out to Sparkle Simp in the chat, bro. Shout out to you, man. I love my haters.
He's still a good man. Although he's hating
I'm
on
sure
me.
He is. Oh man, it's all good, man. Listen, listen. When I turn this off, what's weird to me is people who have internet beefs. E-beefs are weird to me. I never really understood that. You know, when I'm done on the internet, right? Unless you're somebody who I talk to, who I've met on the internet, and I talk to off the internet, which I have a good amount of people I do. Some of them are watching in the stream right now, who I've talked to. We have personal communication. Once this turns off, I'm done. That e-beef shit, people who are pulling up on people in real life, people who they want to fight each other, they're coordinating how they can beat so they can fight and all that shit. That's weirdo shit, bro. That is weird. In fact, you know what? Have you heard of CT's channel? Have you heard of CT? I'm assuming that you have if you're on the YouTube streets as long as you've been.
Maybe you
have.
I'd probably have his channel icon and stuff, but CT.
Shout out to Chaotic Truth, man. So he actually had a story that talked about this. It was this Asian dude from Jersey who took a flight all the way down to Florida to pull up on a dude in the middle of the night, bought a hammer, wore a black mask, like all ninja style, just to try and attack him and kill him because they had a beef on an online game. That shit is weird. That is weird. So anytime, by the way, Herman, I don't know, there was a guy named Herman. He sent me a Cash App actually 2 days ago, and I wasn't even on stream. He sent me a Cash App on Tuesday. Big shout out to Herman, actually. Thank you so much for the $50 Cash App. By the way, Herman, I don't know if you're watching. One more thing, Herman, please take your government name off of your Cash App. Do not make it easy for these people to track you down. That's one more thing I want to give a PSA to everybody, whether it be your email, your Cash App, your PayPal, your Venmo. If you use WhatsApp, I don't care what it is that you use. Unless you're really cool with that person, please take your government name, take your personal numbers, take all the traceable off of these social media.
100% agreed. I recently, not a couple of years ago, had an issue come up where suddenly I needed a roof. So I had just started my channel, just set up my email, just set all of this stuff up. And then I contacted these people about a roof. I get a phone call from a nice young lady wanting to talk to Mr. Sasquatch. And I just laughed maniacally because I didn't think about it. I contacted her through email, and I don't have my name associated with none of that stuff because it was YouTube stuff. So now I purchased a roof as Caucasian Sasquatch. I think I'm kind of locked in now. I didn't really think it through.
Oh my God, bro.
Due to all this. But yeah, that happened. That's the thing.
Amazing. Wow. But you know what, though? At least you took it to heart. You made it a point not to allow yourself to get doxxed. And I know we're in the digital age. If someone really wants to find you, they will. But I always tell everybody, don't make it easy. Don't make it easy for them. You know what I mean? Make them do the work. And guess what? If they pull up on you, guess what? I'm not a tough guy, but I'll tell you right now, I'll blast you through my door.
Well, you know? I just want to be perfectly clear that I will send your mother or next of kin the cleaning bills to my rugs. Exactly. Don't do that to yourself or your family.
Exactly. Plus, it's not worth it. Like, these are internet people. Turn the fucking computer off. Log out. It's never worth it.
I'm in Georgia, bro. It certainly ain't worth it.
Hell no. And listen, there's a dude who I know in Georgia right now. Shout out to a Muslim guy, by the way, if you're watching. He lives in Georgia. I'm not going to say where exactly he lives in Georgia, but he's a really cool dude. I mean, listen, I'm so cool with him. I helped him to get a job actually out there. That's how cool I get with some people. You know what I mean? So that happens. You know, you build. And another thing I forgot to mention, being on the internet, you know, especially when, you know, talking about politics a lot, it's a really great way to talk about business and build networks. That's a really great thing people need to realize. YouTube, StreamYard, the YouTube streets, it should be more than just entertainment. Because honestly, when you help people by collaborating with them, you give them shout outs, you give them interviews, you tell people to go on their channels and sub. That's building a network right there, because all of us can get monetized. We can literally create our own economic ecosystem by helping one another to get but build up our streams, build up our channels, get subs, get the likes. People give money through Cash Apps, through Venmo, through PayPal, through Super Chats. It all works out, man. This stream was a good stream, actually. I was pissed that I had to cancel the stream. I was pissed I had to move the stream actually to Rumble, and I didn't have my Rumble set up. So go ahead.
Is this your most viewed stream, most popular one?
No, my most popular stream. Technically it is because I had to move the stream over to Rumble.
According to view count on YouTube. Remember, all of this is YouTube based. I don't go off any other data.
So according to YouTube, when I look at the analytics on YouTube Studio, my most popular stream was actually the debate we just had. No, I'm sorry. No, I lied. No, it's not. My most viewed stream actually was the Tiffany Henyard stream. Up a little bit. Up a little bit. Tiffany Henyard. Yeah, that one was nearly 1,000 views. Go ahead.
Is this your first one?
No. My very first stream, go all the way down. So go onto the playlist, and if you go all the way down.
I made this playlist.
You made it. Okay.
I used, so we've got Dolton, Mayor Tiffany Henyard, which is your most viewed. Juicy J's Tarpix, Ryan Garcia. Was that your earliest publicly available upload?
No. So you want the very first one, or you want the latest one?
Well, I'm not after getting it. I'm asking what's on YouTube available publicly. I went and looked at your channel, and from my end, this one, if I'm not mistaken, that's 5 months ago. This one is, let's see. Wait, no, that's not even you, is it?
That's Barney's. That's Barney's stream.
Right. So this one is the 5 months ago one. Right.
Yeah, that one. So this one I think we had last week. Yeah, this one we had last week. My most viewed stream.
I'm gonna set this up. This is the most recent one you had done. You've done at least one since then. And so would Tiffany Henyard be the oldest? How do I not have the oldest? I screwed the pooch on this one.
It's all good. So if you go, just click on my icon real quick. If you go down, click on my icon. Go to lives. I'll show you the latest one. Go to live. Scroll all the way down. All the way. Keep going. There you go. That one right there. Should the U.S. remain invested in Ukraine was my very first stream that I did. That was close to 8 hours, right? And that was a whole debate that I did on whether or not the U.S. should remain invested in Ukraine. That was, of course, the hot topic at the time, because we were still talking about it quite a bit. The war was only about a year and change, actually. And I was late to the game, too. And I was covering Ukraine a lot. I was talking about it. I was debating it. I was listening to content every day. Now I kind of wish that I got Andre calling me right now, actually. That's crazy, bro. Andre, the guy that stream. I tell you, I talk to him every day, man. Like, there's some people I've gotten really cool with online. Hold on. Let me tell him real quick.
My paleontologist bit, y'all. I'm going to have to go find my paleontology. Oh, here it is. Cool. All right, let me do this right. I still haven't put it in the StreamYard because I'm a moron. And I put all kinds of other stupid shit in StreamYard. Okay, so oldest publicly available upload, because I'm a YouTube paleontologist, damn it.
You know about cars? Yes, I'm a paleontologist. Oh, it's okay. There's dynamite in this bag, too. I am a paleontologist. I'm a paleontologist. Paleontologists study really old stuff.
Like crackers.
Because bad movies are funny.
Right. There you go. You've been paleontology, baby. So this is your oldest publicly available upload. I'm sorry, that was so horrible. That was so bad.
Sorry, I was actually just talking to Andre. He was talking to me about the press conference, the one we were just watching. So, okay, so right here with this stream, these two have gone at it before. So this is not the first time I had this debate. Pause it real quick, actually. Actually, it doesn't really matter if you pause it. I mean, it's on silent anyways. So originally, I forgot to tell you about the lore for my channel. Originally, my channel didn't even start as my channel. This show, Juicy J's Hot Topics, didn't even start on this channel. Originally, this show started on another channel called Angry Snowman. Shout out to Angry Snowman, by the way. He's a really cool dude. So he decided to allow me to use his... You know who Angry Snowman is? Have you heard of him? Have you seen him?
Yeah.
Okay. So originally, my show started on his channel. He let me use the StreamYard from time to time, and I would go on there and I would cover topics. The first ever episode was called... the first ever show was called Current Events with Jay Rillo, right? That's what he called it. And I wanted to do... I remember I was working night shift at the time, and I woke up and I was, I was already high, and I was like, shit, I have a show tonight. So I had all my topics lined out, but I didn't format it properly. And I had to write it down. I was actually writing it by hand, all my notes, right? And I was able to do like an 8-hour stream, And then what I decided to do was I kept on going. So, he was like, man, I want to give your show a name. I don't want to just call it Current Events. So eventually he decided to say, let's call it Juicy J's Hot Topics, because you like to cover what's hot, and I just started talking about that,
I really
So
like that. Really
yeah,
do.
see, he gave it the name, and I was like, it just stuck. I was like, you know what, man, let me just keep on calling it Juicy J's Hot Topics. So for like the next 6 months, I decided I was just going to keep on doing the work on his show. And mostly the reason why I kept on doing the show on his channel was because my streams were dog shit at the time, man. They were absolutely, they were horrendous. Like I was lucky. I would be doing like 6, 7, 8-hour streams, and people would come up and I'd be talking about all kinds of topics. I'd have like, dude, I'd be going for like 8 hours, and I'd have like 5, 6, 7 topics I would cover. And I'd have like 2 articles and 3 videos per topic. I would just go on for hours talking about it because I just enjoyed it so much. So I'd have like 2, 3 people watching, and I'd be going to like 3 o'clock in the morning. By the way, this is Orthodox guy right here. This guy you see right there, that's Muslim guy. That's how I met him. This guy I know from Georgia. He and I, we go back, and I still talk to him to this day. But that's how I started off, was on his channel, and eventually I took a break. And the first debate, before I forget, the first debate between these two, actually, it was between these two guys, happened on his channel. And it was big for at least me. It was like, 50, 60 people were watching. We had the debate spread across 4 different channels. And it got really chaotic. And after that point, I took a break. And then I decided to launch my own channel. And because the debate was so successful the first time between these two, I decided to have my first stream on my channel be between these two, and be the same debate, round 2, which actually was pretty fun. I do like hosting debates. This isn't the only debate that I've had on this channel. I've had more than one. I've actually had, I think, 2 debates so far, and I have moderated for debates on other channels. I plan on I want to have another debate on the channel with Andre, of course, being on there, being one of the debaters. But this one was really fun. And what I like to do a lot is have long streams. I always get told that long streams are really bad for the algorithm because most times people who view it are intimidated by how long the runtime is, and they're not going to want to watch through all the content. But, I get it.
Consider that 97% of your view time from a live stream comes from the live stream aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
It is rare that something happens later that brings viewers to a live stream after the fact. There are a couple of tricks in how to do that. We'll discuss it after dark.
Oh, yeah. So when it comes to making videos, I've considered doing that, but what I've noticed is that there's so much work that has to go into videos, and I get it. Making videos, you can play it. It can be 20, 30 minutes, and you can get a bunch of other views that way. I don't have that much experience editing videos. You know what I mean? In fact, when I first got CapCut in order to make my intro, it took me quite a while to find the clips, to get the right kind of music, to format it properly. It took a while for me to do that. I did it all in one day, right? But even still, for a 2-minute, intro clip, that was a couple hours of proper editing, and researching the proper topics and making sure that I had music that was free of copyright.
Right.
So
right.
It takes a lot of work to do that.
Iron Manning your channel. That was another question I want to ask you. Some of us are out here doing all this stuff by ourselves, and some of us are out here and have found a few helpful people willing to help out with some aspect of the creative process. Are you Iron Manning your channel, or do you have producers or sound people or anything like that?
It's just me. It's just me, dude. Everything I've done is just all me. Everything I've done. Yeah. I do it all on my own. Because keep in mind, I also have a day job, I do this as like, this is on the side. So you could say this is, like my side hustle. It's like a side hobby. But I want this to become my third stream of income. I'm hoping I can make this my third stream of income. And eventually then I want to get. I've been researching how to do copywriting, so eventually that's going to be my fourth stream of income. And this is just one of the ways that I'm making it work. And I do enjoy streaming. I do enjoy talking to people. When it gets late night, when I get tired, people will be like, "Man, you got bags under your eyes. Man, let me throw you a 20 ball real quick because you got bags under your eyes. You're tired." I remember the one stream that I got that made the most money on wasn't even on my channel. I have the biggest streams that are not even on my channel. Crazy thing, right? Because when I had the Putin stream, I had over 600 views that I hosted that stream, but it was on Barney's Rumble channel because I had to migrate from my channel to his Rumble because YouTube kept on taking my channel down, right? And then the biggest stream I ever had was on Chaotic Truth's channel or Chaotic Truth Reacts channel, and I had a 24-hour live stream that I did. It was accidental. I accidentally did a 24-hour live stream. I didn't mean to do it. It just happened. And I did a 24-hour live stream on Machiavellianism. So I took a month to research the topic because I wanted to talk about Machiavellianism. And I had people who kept on coming. And I didn't have any less than 40 viewers for 24 straight hours. I was kind of shocked, actually. I got up to just over 100 viewers at the crescendo of the stream, around midnight at the start of the stream. And then I just kept on going, and I kept on going and kept on going. And at that point, when people woke up around 10 o'clock in the morning, people started piling in. They were like, "Holy shit, this man is still alive. Let's go over there. Let's watch." And CT even stopped the stream. He's like, "Bro, I'm not even gonna stream today. Do your thing." I was in shock. By the time I hit the 18th hour, I knew that I had to do it. People were like, "Oh my God, are you gonna go 24 hours?" I was like, "I don't know, bro. I'm hurting. I'm really hurting." But when I hit 18 hours, I was like, "Fuck it. I'm just gonna do it again. Why not? I'll just do it. I might as well. I already done 18. What's another 6 more?"
Right. You ever done any night shift work?
Oh yeah. When I first, so at the start of the year, I was working night shift.
Okay, night shift takes a certain type of mentality. Not just anybody's going to walk in on a night shift and be able to work there. It really weirds some people out. What I mean, first of all, the people on night shift are already weird.
Yeah. I know, bro. I'm one of them.
Me too. If you go into that environment unprepared for the level of weird that's going to take place after dark, you will be shocked and possibly even offended.
I know. Possibly, me, bro, I know.
Careful.
I'll be honest with you though. As far as being in the workplace, as far as in my working career, I have found that I adapted way better to night shift than I ever did doing day shift. You know what I mean? Shout out to Distant Lights, by the way. Thanks for coming through, bro. I really like working night shift, and that's part of the reason why, because I'm a natural night owl. My dad's a night owl, so that's why I didn't have problems working night shifts. What really sucks, what's really bad, is working rapid rotation. Do you know what that is?
Is that like where it goes back every 2 weeks or whatever?
No, well, it is essentially, yes, but not every 2 weeks. So on my job, they would do it it would be within the same week. So I'll give you an example, right? When I had the schedule initially, and I had that at the start of 23, it would be 3 days on day shift, 2 days off, 2 days on night shift, 2 days off, 3 days on day shift, 3 days off, 3 days on night shift, 2 days off, and it would be some shit like that, And this is within the same week. Within the same week that would happen. Yes, and then I was also streaming on top of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to have something to do to take up your time. If you don't have when you work a night shift, like for instance, the problem with working night shift, let's say you're working 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Most businesses are closed by 5:30, right? So if you go to work before businesses open and you get off work after businesses closed, you are just as locked out of the system as you are being at work during business hours. Right? There ain't no, I'll go to the doctor on my day off, or I'll go do that on my day off. There is no, that your day off is spent sitting in the dark looking at stars and stuff, or sitting down at the Waffle House drinking coffee at 4 a.m.
Yo, bro, preaching to the choir.
Right? I stand by my belief. I stand firmly by my belief that if your Waffle House staff will not help you hide a body, you, sir, are living wrong.
Goddamn. Truer words were never spoken. And Woody, listen, I told you, bro. It is not Rello, it's Rillo. You disrespect me every time you do that, Woody. You know better than that. In fact, you know what, man? I'm gonna give you a little bit of a story about that, okay? So when I first started coming onto YouTube, Actually started off. I came in the Black YouTube sector, oddly enough, and a lot of the and what I noticed there is it's a lot of drama. It's like a huge drama sphere that's over there, mostly around race and relationships. That's the meta that goes on over there. And there was a dude there whose name is Jay Rello, and I saw the video too. He got stuck in the DR because he's a passport bro. He spent so much money on pussy that he missed his flight, and then he didn't have the money to reschedule it because he flew Spirit. And when you fly Spirit, you have to pay $100 rescheduling fee. So he went on to YouTube. He did a live to beg his fans to cash app him money so he could pay for this fee. Well, ever since then, when I would go to different streams, people would get me confused with him. I'm Jay Rillo. He's Jay Rello. But when you say it really fast, you don't know the difference.
I know. I actually said his name thinking of him when I said it, and I immediately was swamped by people in chat telling me that it's wrong. It's Jay Rillo. It's this other. Here's the link. This guy, not that guy. This other dude over here, this guy. That actually says a lot about you. Part of the way you can judge a person using YouTube's weird manifestation of existence is if you look into the people who support that individual and compare that to the people that hate that individual, and you determine which one of those groups you would rather deal with, right? Would you rather work with the haters, or would you rather work with the people that support you? If that's how that plays out, then people supporting you don't necessarily judge your character, but the people who hate you are very vocal. So they determine the narrative that they want you to be seen in. And by listening to the narrative, you can, what would it be called? A retro engineer the psychology previous to an extent. Because they hard, you've clearly done something that is that impacted them in some way and meant something, not just surface offense. It takes emotion. Hate is not the opposite of love. Indifference is.
Exactly. Indifference.
So if you're going to hate, come hate me or love me. What's up, Tiffany's Epiphany? Welcome in, bud.
That's what I'm saying. I love the haters. I love the haters. You know, hate is just another form of love. A little spicier. That's all. That's all it is. It's just spicy love. So I also want to talk about some of the habits I've had to break. I shouldn't say that I've broken them because I still engage in them from time to time. One of the habits I've really tried to work on when it comes to streaming, I already told you about this on on Barney's channel, right? I'm trying to work on my diction, speaking slower, because I go a mile a minute and I have a lot of information that I want to try and put out in a short amount of time. Not only that though, but another thing I'm trying to work on is not so much drinking on stream, smoking on stream, vaping on stream. There are times when I would just wear whatever when I was on stream. I'd wake up from sleeping for 8 hours and then show up and be like, oh, you know what? Let me go on my stream. Oh my God, I have a stream I scheduled, or scheduling a stream and then not feel like I just don't want to do it and then I cancel it for another time. There are a lot of bad habits I had to kind of work out of. When it came to streaming. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. Sometimes, things happen. Like I'll tell you right now, one of the most epic things that ever happened. And I wish Andre was here. Andre, if you're listening, bro, fucking come to the next stream, bro. One of the funniest things. Oh, this is the Tiffany Henyard stream. One of the funniest things that happened was actually on the debate stream between Trump and Biden, the one we just had. And that was a great stream for all of us, actually. I mean, we at some point we had close to like 130 people watching us, which is great for us because we don't have big channels. And what ended up happening was when the debate started, I was like, okay, guys, we're gonna do a drinking game. So we decided to do a whole big ass drinking game. But what ended up happening is we all got sloshed. And then Andre's like, listen, bro, he's like, we gotta trim the stream down. It's a bad look right now. Like y'all are arguing, you're telling people to shut the fuck up. Y'all are being belligerent as hell. It's not a good look.
Actually, I got to admit this. You were a really good drunk. As far as drunks go, you were extremely articulate until you weren't. It was like someone flipped the light switch. One sentence was perfectly legible. The next one, you Joe Biden out and just stopped and just sat there for a minute. And I was like, okay. It was brilliant, dude. I loved it. And tonight,
in my defense, In my defense,
You're good. It was the 4th of July. You were celebrating. I have no issues. You told me it was going to be like that. I accepted your terms. You're good, bro.
it was funny though. It was funny because they were like, "Jesus, like how drunk are you?" I was like, "Yes."
I'm all the drunk. Yes.
All of it, bro.
That is exactly correct, sir.
Because and the way I started that day off was I started my day off because I told my girls, like, listen, the only 2 things I'm doing today are grilling and drinking, and that is it. So I started off my day by making holiday coffee, and usually when I do holiday coffee is I do get Bustelo. I drink it black because I love Bustelo. I grew up on that, and then I add some whiskey to it. Started with that. I was like, okay, it's late morning. I got the grill already fired up. The meat's prepared. I moved to mimosas then because you know what? I want something that's kind of summerish. It's brunch time, and I can get away with drinking, mimosas before 12 o'clock.
We give our crazy people mimosas on the porch and a pistol.
Perfect. That sounds like a great combination. And then from that point on, I would take shots of Fireball and then beer for the rest of the day. And High Life is my go-to, man. I love High Life. I've always loved High Life. High Life is my go-to, whether it's in a 40 or in a can. Actually, I love drinking out of 40s. Can't help it. I've always had a 40 kick. It's been my thing.
I'm rum myself. I'm more of a rum, and one of the best rums I ever had is it's very difficult to find, and it's really stupid cheap. There is a rum called Castillo Silver. It is a white rum. It has an amazingly light flavor, and it's basically just like drinking acetone. There's nothing. It's just like, and it's the real deal too, son. It's a completely non-spiced rum. It has virtually no flavor to it. It's like vodka, but more subtle. I don't know how to.
I like that because I'm more when it comes to light or dark. I like to drink dark usually, but that's when the demons come out. So I try to make sure I mitigate that a little bit. Luckily, the demons didn't come on stream, so they did on the Trump stream, but not on that stream.
Can't explain this. I can sit down and drink a pint of Jack Daniels, and I will get sick. I will have a pop skull the next morning, and I won't even be able to say my own name when I wake up. I can drink an entire pint of Bacardi Gold and wake up the next morning cooking you a breakfast. But you will hate me this morning. We can sit down to a pint of Bacardi Gold together, or one each, and you will hate me the next morning because I am that early bird asshole who wakes up and starts cooking sausages.
Have you ever had a night of drinking, right, where you get absolutely hammered and you're sloshed and you forget where you're at, and all of a sudden you wake up and you're oddly refreshed, like you don't know why, all of a sudden it's like you're refreshed and you can't explain it, and you're sweating and you're thirsty, but you're like all of a sudden you're refreshed, like outside of some dry mouth and being sweaty, I feel good. It's hard to describe, hard to explain.
There was a short period in my life where I lived directly adjacent to a guy who sold fruit. And so every afternoon I'd go over and talk to him and, spend $6 on some random fruit and stuff. And so fruit salad became a very regular thing. And the occasional golden grain spiked watermelon. Bro, you can, as long as you are eating the fruit that the alcohol soaks into, you almost don't have a hangover the next morning because you were eating while you were drinking, and there's enough water in it that it keeps you from becoming dehydrated like you usually would do. I woke up the next morning and the sun was shining, the tank was clean.
So what's interesting? Back in 2017, I remember this vividly actually, because I was living with a roommate who I still am friends with to this day. And I wanted to celebrate the 4th of July. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make some jungle juice. So I went to the local farmer's market, bought a shitload of fruit. I'm talking oranges, lemons, limes, mangoes. I think I got some honey melon, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. And the motherfuckers ate the raspberries that they were done soaking. I even chopped up a little bit of watermelon. And I threw it all in there, right? And I got a big-ass bottle of Svedka because I was like, I don't know what to make jungle juice with right now. So I decided to just get a giant-ass bottle of Svedka vodka, right? So I took that hand. It wasn't a handle. This wasn't. No, it wasn't a handle actually. It was a handle and a fifth. So I took it and I just poured it in there, right? And I was like, should I add some juice to it? I thought, you know what? Before I add any juice to it, because one of the recipes I read online was that you could use vodka, but you should definitely add juice to it if it's not a high-end vodka. And Svedka is kind of a mid-tier kind of vodka. So I decided not to add anything to it. I decided to let it soak overnight. And bro, let me tell you what, man, all the natural juice and sugars that were in all the fruits, I mean a shitload of fruit, right? All that shit just came out and it flavored the vodka and it made it so sweet, bro. It was such delicious jungle juice, man. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it.
Around here, we got something called apple pie moonshine.
Oh, I've had that before. I've had that. I've had it
it's
before. It's amazing. I've had
it's
it.
That stuff will
Yes.
send you straight to the devil himself.
Yes.
It's also liquid heartburn in a jar, so there's that.
But it's delicious. It is delicious, I'm not gonna lie. With the apple chunks in there too. Oh my god, too. And you can eat the apple chunks and still get torn up off of it. I love that shit, bro.
Dude, we used to spike up some Jello shooters back in the day, and get this, and this is going to sound real silly, but like it's really hard to carry alcohol that doesn't break. This is back in the day, back kind of predating the use of plastic bottles a little bit. So we would set up Jello shots. We'd put them in Ziploc bags, like in little sandwich bags individually, inside of a bunch of them in one Ziploc bag in the cooler, and then put that in a Ziploc bag in the cooler, because if it gets wet, it just turns it on. Dude, you talking about getting smashed on a river? We're just cruising along, tossing each other little corner knots of Jello shooters. Dude. There are no forks in this river, but we're lost. No clue where we're at.
You know what? So I know we're pressed for time. I know you have other things you want to set up. So I mean, I'll try to keep this last story brief. So this happened the first time when I went to go visit my grandfather in Puerto Rico. Very first time ever. And I think I was 19. No, I was 20 at the time, and I was just getting out of college. My first round of college, right? And I remember that I went with my family. It was my mother, my father, my younger brother, and myself. Went there, and at the time I'd been partying a lot. Like I'd been partying a shitload, because I mean you're in college, so what do? You party a lot, right? And I thought to myself, you know what, man, I could finally take my dad. And I mean, I don't mean take my dad as in fight him. I knew I could do that already, because I was already my dad's elderly, and I was much stronger than him at that point. But I mean, like as far as drinking, my dad has been a raging alcoholic for years, right? I still love him to death. And I thought to myself, you know what? I think I can take you now, Dad. It's like, I've been partying it up. I'm your son. You know, I know the lineage I come from. I know the pedigree I come from. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I got a much faster metabolism than you. I got a much healthier liver than you. And this alcohol is going to burn up in my system much faster than it will in yours. So my dad looked at me, right? He looked at my abuelo, my grandfather, right? And my abuelo was like, he just, he's like, no say. So I don't know. Because he didn't want to bother. My abuelo would always say, like, he doesn't drink alcohol because the demons come out when he drinks alcohol. So he decided to back off. And my dad looked at me. He's like, you know what, son? And he pulls out a handle of rum. It's like, I'm going to teach you a lesson tonight. I'm going to teach you a lesson. I was like, bring it. Bring it on, man. Bring it. I want it. Bring it on, man. So we decided to go shot for shot. And we're about halfway through the handle. Now, at this point, my dad's like, he was like, son, do you still want some more? Or do you want to keep going? And by that point, I'm like, I'm not even coherent. I'm not even saying words at this point. And then he's like, I'm trying to take a shot. And he's like, stop. He's like, stop. You already gave up. He's like, you're already done. He drank me under the table. I learned a lesson that night. I thought I could outdrink my pops, and I couldn't do it.
Y'all be careful drinking with these old fogies out here, man.
For real.
I once had a 129-pound old lady put me down like a bad puppy. I made a smart aleck remark. I made a smart aleck remark about shot for shot, and she said, "Fine, Sasquatch, come over here and sit down." I said, "Yes, ma'am," and sat down, and she poured a shot, and I took it. She poured a shot, she took it, and we went back and forth until I stood up, fell over on the floor, and then she took her husband home. And I learned a big lesson that night.
Wow. Really though, dude?
Yes, sir. So y'all be careful with the functional alcoholics out there. Them boys is
Bro,
dangerous, let me tell
They
you.
are. And my dad's a boomer too, so he's old school, so he'll drink his shit straight. You know what I mean? He won't even bother mix. I mean, he will mix it from time to time, but he'll just drink his shit straight up, man. It's insane.
All right, brother. You know what you managed to do?
What's up?
An entire show. I'm proud of you.
That's great. Love it.
All right.
Let's keep it going.
Everybody in Jay Rillo's chat, what's fixing to happen is actually, I don't have to do that, I don't suppose. I'm not. How do you feel about copyright claims?
I mean, listen, I don't have any strikes, so I mean, they'll just give me a warning.
Okay, all right. It should be clear. I'm pretty good at this type of stuff, but I'm going to give you the option to opt out. If you're worried about what I'm going to bring up, you can end your live stream, drop my link in here, and everybody can compile in over here, or however you want to handle that. But before we end this tidbit of the whole thing, Hey, really? Give them your spiel, baby.
All right, guys. So you already know it's your boy Juicy J here from Jay's Hot Topics. That's the channel. Juicy J's Hot Topics is the show. Listen, I cover geopolitics, U.S. politics, world politics. I cover finance, economics. I cover trending topics. I cover the socioeconomic topics. I cover socio-political topics. Sometimes I cover pop culture topics. Sometimes I just cover whatever the hell I want to cover. You know, sometimes I cover topics controversial topics of any kind. Sometimes I do debates. Sometimes I do movie reviews. Sometimes I do nerd shit. Most times I try to keep it political, but I will be honest with you. Sometimes people just be talking. All right. I try to cover as many topics as possible, and sometimes people just be talking, and I love it. You know, I'll talk about just about anything possible. I always try to keep people informed. I always try to give them as much knowledge as I know. I never claim to be an expert on anything. I just like to read. I like to understand things. I like to learn shit. You know what I mean? It's fun. You don't have to be an intellectual to have an intellectual conversation. I don't consider myself that smart of an individual to begin with. You know, I'm, maybe I'm, above average IQ, but I'm nothing crazy. You know, it's not like I'm a genius or anything like that. But I will say this though, when you take the time to have a really good conversation, and it's a really interesting topic, regardless of whether or not you have a lot of knowledge in that topic, you learn, and everything you learn makes you smarter. And that should be the goal. And that's the goal that I try to make with my shows. Is I may not be the smartest person in the room, but I will attract the smartest person in the room. I don't have to be the expert. I don't have to be the know-it-all, but I for damn sure will be someone who learns on that stream. And I will for damn sure will have a great conversation with the people who come to my channel. And you for damn sure will learn something if you come to my channel. So guys, if you want to, please, by all means, come to Juicy J's Hot Topics. Make it a point to drop a sub, drop a like. Come on over, man. I'll probably have a show. Maybe this weekend I might have a show. I'm going to talk with Andre, see what we can get going. In fact, you know what? I probably will have a show given how bad Biden's debacle was. We'll probably cover that, in fact. Because Andre called me, so he's probably going to want to have a show. So, guys, you know what? You'll have a perfect opportunity to see Andre and I work some magic probably this weekend. So, by all means, guys, come on over to Juicy J's Hot Topics, and, yeah, you'll enjoy the ride. Thank you so much, Sasquatch, for having me on tonight. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, bud. I appreciate you coming up. I'm not going to do a whole lot of hooferal for the ending. I've got to run, go do something right quick. I'll be back in 3 minutes. The show's over, but the stream is not over. So
Got you.
I got a little something that we're going to play for a minute, and then
Let's do it.
We'll be back to do panels.
Oh, one more thing, guys. Guys, if you are in my chat, if you are watching on my channel, please come over to Caucasian Sasquatch's channel. Okay, we're gonna keep the party going there. Make sure you drop that man a like and a sub, please. If you are in my chat, vacate my channel. Go over to Caucasian. This is exactly how you say it, right? Exactly how you put it in YouTube. Caucasian Sasquatch.
Yeah, just like that.
Exactly, just like that, guys. Please go over there.
Even
at Caucasian Sasquatch.
Hold on. When you're trying to bug everybody out of a room.
Nice.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back in 3 minutes. Y'all have a lovely afternoon for the moment, and I shall return. We're going to hit this button over here as soon as I find it again. I tripled the amount of clips I have back here, so I'm working with something now. What are the humans doing?
They demonstrate in real time how they're spinning you lies. But no one pays attention, no one opens their eyes. They walk around like zombies with their head in the mobiles, signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. Yeah. Signaling their virtues with a pick on their profile. So if you think you're ready.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's bring him up here and we'll ask him what he want to do. If you want to continue live streaming what we're doing over here, we're just going to be discussing chevron deference, and I've got a couple of videos brought up to go over to kind of explain what it is and what's going on, kind of thing. I've got the linked pinned in my chat. If you want to pin it in your chat, I think I can work that out too.
I mean, sure, that works. I mean, I don't see what the issue is with the copyright. Honestly, I didn't see anything that's copyright.
No, I don't. For the show you just saw, I used nothing copyrighted. Everything there was either given to me, made for me, or provided by guests or something like that. Right. From here on, I'm using other people's content, and I do not know what they are going to do. I can't predict it, but I very rarely end up with anything more than just a copyright claim. Typically no strikes. I haven't had a strike in a minute, but I just, Eye of Sauron be upon thee. I don't know what you do. Yeah. So let me swap around a few digitalis type things over here, and we'll be back in business all over again. So welcome to After Dark. And After Dark, the link is not pinned. Now it's pinned. All right, you can drop the link in your chat if you want to. I'll put it backstage so you can share it.
Cool.
I'm going to be pretty careful with the whole thing. So, like, if we're going to be doing vocal acknowledgments and whatnot, we might be speaking in code or flashing gang sign backstage or whatever. So, like, if I don't know you, I'm not going to risk both of our channels on some random P-bomber. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Just so you know, I'm very careful on that front. All right. So, what do you know about chevron deference?
Not a whole lot, if I'm being honest. In fact, when I learned about chevron deference, I heard about it from another stream, and that there was a court ruling that chevron deference was being struck down. But essentially, it's something along the lines of certain agencies' personal bylaws can be used to interpret laws, and therefore they can go after individuals through their own bylaw interpretation and translate their own bylaws into actual law, which then they try to codify that into a hard law. That makes any sense. And that the U.S. Supreme Court basically struck that down and said, no, there was a delineation between your bylaws and actual U.S. law.
Right. What these strike. All right. So the bump stock. A bump stock is not a firearm. It is not any part of a firearm until you attach it to a firearm, at which point in time it does not become a machine gun and does not alter the functioning of that firearm in any way. You can do exactly the same trick if you train long enough. You don't have to have a bump stock to do a bump shot. Such a thing exists, and people train to do it. So the bump stock is like training wheels to learn to do a bump shot. And a bump shot is using a semi-automatic weapon as though it were fully automatic due to cycling so quickly. You pull the trigger every time, and it can only cycle as fast as you pull the trigger, but you can pull the trigger really fast if you train. So the issue here is they decided that a bump stock was a machine gun based on how it works after you've installed it, instead of what it actually does. It is a accoutrement. It is an add-on. It is a what do you call it? Paraphernalia of guns, but it is not a gun, and no stretch of the imagination can make it a gun. But they interpreted a phrase in the reference to machine guns as something along the lines of can make easily, right? And they took that to mean that if it imitates it, they changed the interpretation of the phrasing so that rather than it being this thing, if it's anything like this thing. So if it walks and talks like a machine gun and someone is skilled enough to make it sound and look like a machine gun, they can say it's a machine gun, and then it falls under the ATF's auspices. A scope does not. Here's another feature. Okay. A silencer is not a firearm.
Correct.
It does not. It neither fires nor stops the firing of a firearm. It is essentially a saucer, right? It's just another thing to go with the teacup. You don't need a saucer to drink tea, but it does kind of help sometimes. Well, a silencer allows you to target practice without damaging your hearing. The federal government watched a bunch of freaking Michael Bay movies and decided that silencers were so dangerous that they had to be policed like firearms. Seriously. And it was Chevron deference interpretation that brought silencers into the bailiwick of the ATF to be able to regulate silencers in the very first place. Back in the 80s, you used to be able to go get 90s, you used to be able to go get 22s with built-in silencers. They were built into the firearm mechanism, designed so that you wouldn't hurt your ears, and you could just use a pair of wax earplugs instead of having to put the weird plugs in and the big things on, and you know. So having Chevron, but there's more. There's so much more. The EPA reinterpreted what tributary meant. They also reinterpreted all kinds of definitions involving the size of streams and the concept of ephemeral. You know what an ephemeral stream is?
I don't know. Can you enlighten me?
Okay. An ephemeral stream is a stream that exists for maybe a couple of hours after a really good rainstorm. If you were to show up within that couple of hours, you would look and go, oh, wow, a nice little stream. That must be a navigable waterway. But if you showed up a couple hours later, it might be a half-inch deep, and that's it. That's all it ever does. So it's not by the previous definitions a navigable waterway, but by the ephemeral definition that they went with, the new interpretation through Chevron deference, it becomes suddenly a navigable waterway, which means your property is now managed by the EPA rather than it just being some random pasture. It's now a waterway.
This is
I'm not even joking. It is redonkulous, dude.
This is like technical bullshit hell. My God, bro. That is insane.
By overturning Chevron deference, they have relocked the doors of interpretation in theory. Well, it remains to be seen whether the courts will stand up to it. So as of the overturning of Chevron deference, this also overturns all previous interpretations that were not based on the interpretation as when Congress wrote it into law. Meaning, a bump stock is not a firearm, and a silencer is not a firearm. And as such, neither of these items can be managed by the ATF in any way.
Amazing. You know, man, you know what I've come to realize ever since I've become, grown into my adulthood? I really do come to see that science fiction is merely the human's way of looking into the future and interpreting it. Because George Orwell, I believe, is one who wrote 1984, right?
Good
and
man.
Here we are, but the thing is, we're actually living it. It's crazy. What's good, Rashu? Good to see you, bro.
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? How you guys doing?
All right, man. All right.
I'm just trying to catch in on the conversation. Sasquatch, you just made an awesome point by saying silencers and bump starts cannot firearms. So why are they regulated by the ATF? That was a great point, man. Continue.
Dude, I have been absolutely baffled. All right, so I worked at a company back in the 2004, 2005, and on a random Tuesday, an EPA representative showed up at the factory I was working at, walked into the back door of the place, and shut us down. The reason they shut that factory down on that day is because zoning, because changes in the interpretation of waterways had changed, and now zoning can't be zoned the way it was zoned yesterday, and this factory can't be here because of an ephemeral waterway. This is the only reason I know about this trash, right? I just happened to be standing there and lost my livelihood because of it.
That is crazy, bro. And you said it was just a few inches of a difference in water level?
So basically, the type of factory I was working at utilizes a lot of steam. The steam creates a lot of condensation all over everything. Right. And so inevitably, you end up with a little bit of a trickle of water that goes off. And then when it rains, that little trickle of water becomes something a little more significant than a trickle of water. And they decide that's a navigable waterway. Therefore, you can't have that factory that close to a navigable waterway. They shut us down. 6 weeks we're down. Then we're back up and running after some fine was paid. Totally a cash grab. Totally. The whole thing was a cash grab.
And you know what? They probably knew to target factories like yours. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we got this new interpretation going on. Let's go hit up these sites right here.
Angry Snowman, brother, can I get some kind of like gangster sign or something? Anything? Okay,
dude,
hold on.
His sign was gangster.
Did you really ask for a gangster sign?
I'm okay. There you go, bud. I was just asking him for something. Anything will do. You're up, bud.
What's good, Snowman?
Yo, Snowman.
I was muted. Sorry, man. What's up, fellas?
Hey,
hey, Sasquatch. You sure that bump stocks and silencers don't fall over under the alcohol and tobacco part of the ATF?
How is a bump stock alcohol?
I have no idea. I'm sure they can find
a way to is a bump stock tobacco?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm just.
Is it explosives?
I'm just trying to come up with some logical conclusion, man.
Hey, angry man.
Bump stock can produce smoke, and tobacco can produce smoke. Therefore, they are one and the same.
Yeah. But maybe if you smoke tobacco while you use a bump stock, they can have something on you, right?
Well, instead of that, why don't you just smoke the bump stock and just use the tobacco?
What if you're drinking? What if you're drinking while you're utilizing a bump stock?
It matters.
Well, no, it depends on what you're using it for. If you're using it to prop open a door, you're fine. If you're using it on a firearm, you are now a felon because you're drunk and shooting a firearm. Now, in private property, this becomes a gray area.
That is a real gray area on private property.
Mm-hmm. So if you have a private range that's far enough away that nobody can be interrupted by, random bullets falling out of the air or nothing, there is no legal reason for anyone to ever show up on your property asking you what you're doing.
Yeah, this is true.
Well, haven't they been trying to shut down this? They've been trying to shut down that Chevron deference fucking ruling for a while now, ain't they?
Oh God, thank God they did too, man, because some of the wildest interpretations have come out of federal agencies since that went down, and I don't appreciate not a bit of it.
Well, my question is how much of the law is going to have to change now because of this ruling?
Well, no, it's not that it changes. It does change, but it changes back.
Right. So how much of the law is going to have to, how much of the law that they already have now that they've allowed all these alphabet agencies to put into play without any kind of congressional fucking, right. Yes, how much of this is going to have to change now? How much is going back to constitutional foundations?
Let's take a look at the DEA. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into freaking pit of vipers on this one. We're going to go looking straight up at the DEA, right? The DEA acquired its power by way of the whole drug war thing. I find it funny that every time we declare war on something, there's more of it. It's the weirdest thing in politics, bro. It's almost as if when you fund something, you find more of it.
Well, I mean, come on, bro. How long has the CIA been laundering drugs? Since 48.
Okay. 48. There was this thing called the Dutch East India Company.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to remember
how long the DEA hasn't, or the CIA hasn't been laundering drugs.
It's been about since 48. I mean, and since then it's only gotten worse. And the only person who really has congressional oversight over CIA is the president. But if you can find a way to groom and control a president, then you can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want. And that's what's been going down. Well, hence child trafficking, because drugs ain't as lucrative as they used to be, and plus people have starting to figure out what's been going on with that, aka Bill Clinton and his Arkansas mess. And I mean, we can go down the list, but
right. Okay, so if you're grooming presidents into office, who are we talking about here?
Right now they're trying to get Kamala into office.
For sure, yeah. For certain.
You said
Kamala 100%. Right now they're trying.
Yeah.
Come swallow Harris. Come swallow Harris is trying to be made president right now, and they're doing it through the Biden.
It has to be that they're trying to. It has to be that they're trying to prop her up, man. Because if you're gonna keep on letting Biden self-destruct on stage like this and self-destruct across, in front of the world, I mean, eventually he's gonna have so much social pressure that he'll be forced to leave, to give up his office.
Well, they're letting them self-destruct to give them ammunition to say why. Yeah.
You know why? And I've said this beforehand. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Rashu. I've said this beforehand. They're gonna let him keep self-destructing, so that way, when the DNC comes around, I believe the DNC is in August, if I'm not mistaken, because the RNC is next week. Yeah, the RNC is next week.
The RNC next week.
You're gonna be there?
You're
gonna be there with the boys. Yeah, the RNC. RNC is gonna be in Milwaukee. You're gonna be there with the boys. I'm gonna miss it this year. They disapproved my time, so I can't go, motherfuckers. But anyways,
you out there in Milwaukee?
No, I was gonna go, but the thing is, when I put my time, my job rejected it. They won't let me take the time.
I got you.
No, I'm about 4 hours from Milwaukee, but I know quite a few people in Milwaukee.
So what's going to end up happening, in my opinion, is that when he shows up to the DNC, they're going to open the convention. I've been saying this now for months. They're going to open.
No, dude. Hey, Jay.
No. In order for a Kamala Harris presidency, they need Joe Biden to be reelected.
Isn't the DNC in Chicago?
I don't know.
It is.
I don't know. It is.
Yes, it's in Chicago.
I'm pretty sure it's in Chicago.
But in order for Kamala Harris to be elected, they need Joe Biden to be elected. That way they can fall under the, vice president taking over transition of power when Joe Biden is no longer fit to do it. And that's how they're going to hornswoggle her being the first black female president.
Hey, Sasquatch, you like Cooper?
Anderson Cooper? Who? What?
No,
where?
Cooper Bogetti, the guy you got up right now.
Oh, I actually stumbled across this while I was looking into the Chevron deference explanations and whatnot, and about the overturning. And
I thought you might be a car guy.
I got a 69 El Camino Super Sport in my backyard, but I don't know if you'd call me a car guy.
Oh, that's nice. No, this guy's a car guy, and he started podcasting. He used to be with but go ahead.
So what homie is doing here is he's going through the Chevron deference abolishment, and it's not a hugely long video, and I'm going to be pausing it regularly, so feel free to speak up through it. I have no issue with that. But we're gonna listen to what this guy has to say about it, and I'm gonna try to skip his embedded ad when I find it.
Welcome back. We got a big one today. The Chevron deference is gone. No more can these executive branch agencies make their own laws. We just talked about it the other day where they can no longer judge their own laws, judge the people that they're coming after. Now they can no longer interpret these ambiguous laws that Congress makes into whatever mold, whatever form they want. So the Supreme Court has once again read the Constitution and upheld it. It's amazing that they, in their infinite wisdom, could see that 3 branches of government exist. And then they also made a ruling that agrees with that. It is unreal. I don't care what side of this you're on.
I actually have to go with him on this because usually the 3 branches of government, other than bickering amongst themselves, walk in lockstep. They're generally fairly in agreement with how much they're going to screw you, that they are going to screw you. They argue about how much. In this case, the Supreme Court turned and looked at not just the executive branch, but also the rest of the infrastructure to commit treason, which is what it is, the ability to cause citizens to be criminalized because they woke up the next morning.
Wow.
Yep.
No legacy concepts, no sunsetting concepts, no grandfathering in. You own a butt stock, you are now a felon, and they would seek you out. Who's the gun tuber who made the credit card holder thing that had the auto seer printed on it?
Not the collector.
I can't remember his name.
I can't remember who made it now.
But
there's where was he out of?
You know that guy, Black Guns Matter?
The credit card gun. I remember the credit card gun.
Not the credit card gun. This was an individual who made a business card, a legitimate, literal business card with his information on it. And on one side, it had all his information. It was made of some kind of high-grade aluminum that he uses in his manufacturing processes. And on the back, he had painted on, like engraved on the back, the shape of an auto seer from an AR-14. It was not an auto seer. I don't know if you cut it out and put it in, if it would function as an auto seer. And I have yet to see a test on that very concern. But he was charged with every single one of those as a machine gun sale. And he is going to jail till the end of time. Like, he will be in prison. I don't even think he's been actually I
see the article right here. I'm trying to find
yet. It's still ongoing, and I'm hoping this Chevron deference thing is going to help that dude out, because my man didn't do nothing illegal, not really. He did some stuff, and then later the ATF went, "Hey, that's illegal." After he called him and was like, "Hey, I'm going to make this business card, and I'm going to do it out of aluminum," they were like, "Okay."
Timothy John Watson.
That sounds right. He runs a YouTube channel.
Yeah, he's out of West Virginia.
Yeah. Them boys got bro.
That sounds like the guy in Brooklyn who got life. Didn't he get life, I think? Software engineer, and he has a bunch of lathes and machines in his house, and he started making his own guns. He never even shot any of them, and they locked him up. I think he got life or at least 30 years.
Dude, gun crimes, non-criminal gun crimes, and this is a hard conversation to have. Anytime you're talking non-criminal gun crimes, what I mean is, we're not talking about a criminal who bought an illegal gun and went and committed a crime. We're talking about an individual who 2 seconds before the cops showed up wasn't doing anything criminal.
Right.
Because simply possessing a gun in certain areas is criminal, and that is absurd. That the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment for a reason.
It's unconstitutional, man.
It's beyond unconstitutional. I'm against any no gun zones. I'm talking. I want to put shot training back into school. I want shooting teams in our middle schools. Yes,
Absolutely.
Sometimes
we used to do it in the 70s, man. We used to do it.
Sometimes doing it in the 80s and 90s.
Sometimes people will be shot. Some insane people will get their hands on firearms and do horrible, evil, terrible acts. Nothing you do will stop that except one thing. If you return the schools from being a soft target to a hard target, you will force the guys, the people doing this, to rethink their target.
Agreed.
Who was it? Who was the guy? I'm sorry. Who was the guy who took a truck? He took I think a box truck and plowed it into a group of bicyclers. Was that in Boston? There was a guy who took a truck. It was a box truck, and he just
that was over in like England. That was in the UK.
Was it England that happened? You know what I'm talking about, though, right? I thought it was in the US.
That might have been the UK, bro. I think that might have been.
Maybe it was, but he killed like 80 people with a box truck, though, just plowing into all these cyclists. And I thought to myself, I was like, wait a second. When's the last time the U.S. has had a shooting where 80 people were deleted from from a random shooter, from any one shooter? I can't think of it.
Well, look at the dude that drove a fucking SUV through a Christmas parade and fucking Wisconsin.
Yes, that was in Waukesha. That was in Waukesha. Yeah, I saw that trial actually. I saw that trial. They gave that dude they gave that dude like 1,000 years in prison.
The truth of the matter is, if somebody wants to go out and kill people, regardless of what you make illegal to do it, they will find a way to kill somebody.
They'll find a way to do it, man. That's what I'm saying. If you look in the UK, knife attacks are all the rage. Go ahead, Rashi. My fault.
Listen, Cain and Abel, bro. Cain took that rock and beat Abel over the damn. I mean, excuse me, maybe it's the other way around, but you know what I mean. It doesn't. A weapon is a weapon, bro. It doesn't have to be a gun. You can kill anybody with your bare hand. You can kill somebody by tripping them the wrong way. Like
you can buy all the things you need to go at Home Depot and Menards, Lowe's to build yourself a homemade fucking shotgun at home.
Well, think about a bomb. You can go to Home Depot and Lowe's and create a fucking bomb, and they got
everything. They got everything you need there to make a pipe bomb.
Yeah, throw some nails in there and all types of stuff.
So if you guys remember back,
do this.
Okay, if you guys remember last year, though, right? You guys remember Shinzo Abe? You guys remember Prime Minister Abe?
Yeah.
Okay, so Prime Minister Abe is in Japan. Japan has some of the strictest gun laws on earth, and still someone was able to assassinate him with a homemade pistol.
Absolutely.
They still found a way to do it.
I mean, look at China, guys. I mean, I know a lot of our.
Well, you have to get a permit in China to have an airsoft rifle.
Say that again, bro.
So don't you have to get a permit in China to use an airsoft rifle?
Oh, I don't know that one. I just know guns and gun obtainment in general in China isn't really a thing, but they use vehicles and knives and bats and all types of stuff. And I mean, they attack children on a daily basis. Like grown men attack children just for no reason, out of spite. It happens all the time. And like, there's some YouTube videos that goes over, Chinese news. And those, I'm telling you, we don't highlight it, but they are really ruthless out there.
Because apparently that's like their form of getting back at societies. It's honestly extremely pathological. It's extremely pathological. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have enough. The women to men ratio is one thing, right? You have a limit.
No, the crazy thing. I'm sorry to cut you off. Actually, women outnumber men out there. Apparently, we've had it wrong. Women outnumber men out in China.
Check it out.
Doesn't make any sense.
So what's the situation?
I did a poll during your show, and it was like, "What are you? Red pill, blue pill, sugar pill?" And 64% of people chose sugar pill. 7% chose blue pill. The rest were red pill with 28%.
Well, I know I voted red pill, so take that for what you will.
Yeah. Red's my favorite color, so
my favorite color too. But from what I understand, the real problem is the fact that people, as the same YouTubers that you're talking about, I've watched, and the way he describes it is that people have become so coddled by society and through so many government programs that when their life ends up getting fucked and there's no social safety net to catch them, they end up lashing out because out there, you can get sued for anything. In fact, there are no Good Samaritan laws. You can get sued for helping somebody from a car accident, and that person who got in that car accident, whose life you saved, can turn around and sue you and say that you were the one who actually injured them, saving their life. And then there's no social safety net. There's no way to fight it. So when your life gets fucked into the dirt and you end up becoming broke, that's when they lash out socially and they just start stabbing random people.
Do you have any type of donation platforms or anything?
Me? Yeah, I do. I have a Cash App and I have a PayPal. Yeah. Cool. This is your show, though. I'm not going to do that in your show. This is your show.
You're supposed to do that during the Sasquatch Shills portion. If I'd have had those links, I'd have had them crawling across the bottom.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. It's all
part of the program. There's other stuff that I do after you've been a guest on Sasquatch Shills. So I have a whole bunch of custom layouts that I use in StreamYards that I've done. It takes a lot of people to kind of make them apparent. We're looking at one of them now. This utilizes OBS with StreamYard. So like this. Where's that? There we go. See that?
Mm-hmm.
See how that works? I am this entire camera, right? The whole screen. But I'm using OBS to put myself in the corner and to share media, and that works better than the media share utilized in StreamYard. It's less glitchy, so I can do stuff like this. And it
I don't understand how you could see this and look at this and think,
right. Also, I have 3 or 4 different debate layouts that I've worked out. I've got a couple of different what I call counterpoints layouts. What's up, Mad Catter? I got a bunch of stuff that I put together tinkering on a bunch of different shows. And whether you want to sit down with me one day and figure out how to set it up and how it works and all that stuff.
I was actually going to ask you, because I've tried to tinker with it before to try and build your own custom layout, and I still haven't been able to do it yet. I mean, I usually don't fool around with StreamYard that much. I usually keep it pretty basic, but I like some of the new custom formats, so I do want to learn how to do that.
Right. Well, rather than learning how to do it, it would take me 15 minutes to sit down and lay it out in your as if you made me a team member.
Right. I got you.
And give me a couple of days to tinker on it to get everything measured out right, because it's got a measuring tool built into it. It's just really freaking annoying. And so once you get everything laid out right, you can have it populate properly. And like, I can either use this or I can use the actual media share. Either way, and it kind of pops out the same, takes up the same area, does the same thing.
Right.
I don't have any of my debate layouts in here. I've got most of those tucked away over on Flow States, a couple other channels.
But you don't need to use any outside source in order to do a custom layout, right? All that you can do within StreamYard.
What you're seeing right now is a total layout in StreamYard.
Okay.
You can do this no problem, just the way it looks, except where it says Caucasian Sasquatch Dominant Hominid at the bottom. That's because I'm using my OBS as my primary screen.
Got you.
But you can build it to look exactly like this. I've also got a few other ones that I do where because that's actually what my screen layout looks like.
Right.
You see? So without all this, it's a clever bit of chicanery is what it is. It's like running a long con. It's a matter of measurements and a battle of like micrometers. You've got to be very specific, because the human eye will see something wrong with it, and that autistic bastard will leave. You want the viewer to something that up.
And YouTube is full of them, bro. YouTube is full of them. They'll stay in the comments and they'll keep on harping at it and harping at it.
Here's another thing that I do for previous guests. Like, there's all kinds of weird little perks that go along with this, if you're willing to take advantage of them.
Okay.
And being on an After Dark, I'm sorry, Rashu, being on an After Dark doesn't qualify as a previous guest. That's a Sasquatch Shills thing. If you want to do a Shills, get with me. We'll make that stuff happen. But like things like if you're doing a live stream and you need a mod to show up and deal with some stuff, I do that kind of stuff. Or somebody to just sit backstage during your show to trigger the right things to come up on screen at the right times type stuff. Now, it's the term I use is producer, but it's really just kind of a helpful dude in the background. Nothing more.
Right.
So I sometimes schedule things between different characters. And
How do you find the time to do all this, dude?
I'm retired. I made some very sound financial decisions when I was younger.
Well, there you go.
Her name is Wife Squatch.
Nice. So you got a sugar mama. Okay.
Yes, sir. I call her a honey mama.
I got a sugar mama too.
I'll tell you what, man. That means Sasquatch out here paying with the D. That's how he's able to have such a good life.
Hey, I got sugar mama too, man. I'm right there with Sasquatch. Man. It's got to be the beard, man. It's got to be the beard. The beard and long hair.
Well, maybe, but I'm funny. I don't know about you.
I can play music. I can play music, dude. That's about all I got going for me.
Is your name Kyle? Because that asshole with the guitar is always named Kyle.
No, that's not my name.
Nowhere near even close.
I am drinking. I am drinking medicinally. I have kidney stones, and one of the best ways I've ever found to pass a kidney stone is to drink a whole boatload of water and then get drunk. Because then you wake up and you don't remember passing it in the middle of the night. That's the best I can do with it. And I am a recovered opiate addict, and I do not take opiates. This is my bypass on that because it's either opiates, benzos, or alcohol. You take your pick. What's your torture going to be? You try that shit sober, and it's like giving birth to a watermelon. It's crazy. There's no suffering like
that.
that.
A buddy of mine had a water bottle of them, and man, there were some pretty decent sized ones in there. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he was passing them a lot.
How long you been off the wagon now, Squatch?
How long have been
water?
How long you been off the wagon?
Off the wagon? No, sir. I never quit drinking.
Well, I apply that to all issues.
Okay. Well, 5-6 years now.
Yeah, I never had an opiate. I had a fucking meth. I'm a recovering meth addict, dude, and I've been off that for like 16 years.
I have been on every drug known to man.
The only one I never met with was street opiates. I did get pharmaceutical opiates. I just never liked them.
I have never done drugs that hard in my life, bro.
I've never done opiates.
I've never done drugs that hard, bro.
If you've taken a perk or a Vicodin, you've done an opiate.
Yeah. If you've ever had
cleaned
and it hurt a little bit and they gave you a little
any kind of pain medication that they give you is an opiate.
Almost all of them.
I got hurt on the job one time and I messed up my ankle and I had to get my mom to come pick me up because I couldn't drive. And I was not taking any pharmaceuticals. And she was like, son, you're in pain. You're going to need I got a 5 milligram Percocet or something. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I was like, hell no. Nah. She was like, trust me, you're going to need it. So I ended up taking it a couple hours later. Bro, that was the most constipated I have ever been in my fucking life, bro.
Yes, sir.
I could not get off of that.
Percocets always make me nauseous.
Yeah, me too. Now
I felt weird.
I got off opiates and then had all of my teeth pulled and some reconstructive surgery done on my face. And in the process of all of that, I discovered I've had headaches my whole life.
You need to tell me you paid for that face?
This is an improvement, bro.
Man.
You can eat me from the dirt. I am proud of this work, bro. Look. No joke. Full stop. I used to have a full-on like cat's mouth. Like I had fangs that stuck out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I had a freaking muzzle, like that Beauty and the Beast from back in the 80s. Anyway, so homie did some good work. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I had broken part of my face when I was young, and I had an infection that had run up the nerve canal under my left eye. So when I had all my teeth pulled, that infection was found, dealt with, and for the first time in my life, I didn't have a splitting headache. When he pulled that tooth out, I screamed and said, "Oh, thank God." And sprayed blood everywhere. Homie had been sitting there hitting me with Novocaine for 20 minutes straight. Bam, bam. Well, I can't. Sir, if it's not numb, it's not numb. How can it not be numb? I don't know. It's not numb. What it was is he was putting it into the nerve canal. The nerve canal there was already full of a pus pocket, an abscess, right? My entire left side of my sinus had been closed up by this abscess for years. He pulls this tooth, green shit flies across the room, and I had my first breath through my nose since I was maybe 8.
Damn, bro.
That's amazing, dude.
What caused the crack in your skull?
So when I was very young, I had a cast iron bathtub, and I had to talk to some people after all of this was done and finished, and I was healed, and I've got teeth, and everything's fine now, right? And I had to go back to my brother and his sister and my pops and be like, "Look, you know, I had this thing, and I'm wondering." My pops, without batting an eye, he said, "When you were 6, you jumped straight into a cast iron bathtub. You climbed on back of the toilet and you jumped into the bathtub." Keep in mind, I have had hundreds, if not thousands, of facial x-rays because I've been complaining about headaches, smelling weird things, all kinds of weird pressure issues up in like my head and stuff. My whole life, I went in and had MRIs and all kinds of wacky stuff. But because a abscess has the same density as the airspace in your sinus, it just looked like a sinus infection. They give me some antibiotics. My headaches would go away after a couple of days, and as soon as the antibiotics were over, they'd come back over and over and over again. So
this is what I hate about science. Sometimes we never connect the dots, right? You've already been there a bunch of times, and this thing looked like a sinus blockage. Maybe it's something more to it.
Not even. No, it looked like a perfectly open sinus. They would look up into my nose and say, "Well, it looks a little bit inflamed. Can you breathe in for me?" And while they had that thing in my nose, yes, I could. I'd be like, "Well, yeah, but not when you take that out." And he's like, "But you can breathe through that side of your nostril." "Yes." "Does it hurt?" "No." "Okay. Well, if it's really cold, it hurts really bad and I get a migraine." That's weird. Well, the reason was the pocket had pushed over the left side of my sinus and taken its place. So the space was, you know, pretty much occupied. And when the cold gets to it, it causes all the little muscles around it to stick up, and suddenly it got under pressure, and I get this migraine. Dude, I did cocaine one time by accident in Minecraft.
How do you do cocaine by accident?
It just smelled so good, dude. No, seriously.
Jesus, bro.
No, I didn't know nothing about it. I was fairly young. I'd never encountered it before. And they're like, "Here, you know, you want to try some of this?" And I was like, instant migraine. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever experienced. My face went away, but the pain remained.
Oh my God, bro. That must have been crazy, you know?
It took, dude, it wasn't until after all of this had been fixed that I figured out what had been going on in my life. The reason I never did cocaine and couldn't be addicted to cocaine was because it was an instant migraine, right? The reason it was an instant migraine, my sinus cavities would numb out, and the only thing left was that pus pocket of pain.
Wow. Oh, that's wild.
Dude, I'm not even joking. I would in Minecraft, and immediately 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes, I would stand up, turn, walk a few feet, sit down, and pass out. And I firmly believe I passed out from pain. I think that's what was doing it, because I wouldn't be sleepy. I'd sit down and say, "Oh my God, my head hurts." And then I'd go to sleep. So I walked around my whole life with this mouth, not getting killed by people hitting me in the face.
Jesus, bro.
Yeah, that's a hell of a story, man.
It's
That
wild. I've got several of those. I have some friends. I have one friend who is a bona fide, like, no bullshit Mensa genius, but he was also a dope fiend. And so
I knew some people like that.
When we go backstage, like when we drop the whole stream and everything, I can tell you, ask me to tell you, or if you catch me anytime in the future and you think it's worth it, ask me to tell you the fish tank story. It is hilarious because it is a comedy of errors and stupidity by a genius, by somebody who's smarter than you, me, and everyone else in this room. He was brilliant, dude. I loved that man to death. I'd give up anything for him to still be here, but he had a certain moron streak, you know?
Don't we all, though, sometimes, man? All of us do every now and again.
Look, think about it, though. Like, the smartest people that we revere to this day, you know, were quacks during their time. For, you know, like Galileo was fucking locked up, and Einstein, nobody fucking believed, the general relativity shit at first. Like, he had some
They
serious.
thought Einstein was retarded as a kid.
They
He
thought
failed
Einstein
algebra.
was retarded. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
he failed algebra multiple times.
Look at Tesla.
But listen, no. Y'all are misunderstanding the concept of genius. Do you think the man that designed the pyramids was a genius? No. He was a
Was it a man? Was it a man who designed it?
Okay. Assuming it was human.
Okay.
I do not believe the guy who built the pyramids was a genius. He was an artist for sure. My man had excellent draft skills, but the genius was the guy who designed the method to build the pyramids. That's the guy I want to talk to. I want to sit down with him and have some beer. Right?
That's worth it.
Well, I understand what you mean by that, but that's a little bit deeper of a conversation because we don't have any real. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that. Go ahead, bro.
Got a little something for you, Rashu. You ever been
What's
to Georgia?
up? Yes, sir. I was just there a month ago.
Okay, next time you come to Georgia, hit me up. I'm in middle Georgia, so I'm about 2 hours from everywhere.
That sounds way better than Atlanta. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm about an hour south of Atlanta. Anyway, so we'll call it the greater Milledgeville area. I have a toast. Would you like to hear my toast? A toast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna toast you, Rashu. So let's.
Oh, you want to take a shot, sir? You want to take a shot?
I am currently taking a shot. I don't care what you do, but here's my toast.
Hold on, let me grab one. Let me grab one, and I'll take one with you.
Damn, I got no liquor on me. Y'all are, man, this is some bullshit.
Is that cool, bro?
Do you as you do, boo boo? What's up, Gary? And
I'm going down now.
Saying that right?
Oh, Chaotic finally comes back tomorrow. About time.
Right. He catch him a strike.
He caught a mean strike, apparently.
Those are I like working with because people who are on the edge of catching strikes, they are you're big screen, baby. I can't do a shared screen at the moment because
Rashu, how the hell do you drink all this alcohol and stay skinny, bro? This is some bullshit.
Dude,
I've been skinny all my life, man. I'm trying to gain weight. Oh my God.
Here's to you and here's to me, and may we never disagree. But if we do, to hell with you. Here's to me.
Cheers, brother.
That's pretty good.
Salute.
Salute.
So, right, wrong button. That one.
Yeah, man, he caught a mean strike, but he had been going pretty hard though. At the start of White History Month, so I mean, he had been going really hard. So he was going to catch up with him eventually.
It might have been the fact that he asked me to pull out some guns. One of the last streams. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what though? That doesn't make any sense because then gun tubers couldn't exist.
That's what I think. But there was
it's live streams. Live streams. Bro.
That's what I was about to say.
You cannot show yourself handling a firearm on a live stream. That is verboten. Absolutely not. You will catch a strike.
So I didn't know that until yesterday.
We're both streaming right now. If Rashi reaches over and picks up a pistol and starts walking around in his room, even if it's airsoft, AI will strike us both. And we'll have to appeal and we'll have to do some stuff and it won't work.
Even if it's airsoft?
It doesn't matter, bro.
You cannot determine a visual difference between airsoft and firearms.
That means that means if it's that bad, it's airsoft. They could fuck up and end up striking you for someone having a Nerf gun. That looks kind of realistic because it's.
I tried to sell.
I'll go a step further. No, sir, you are absolutely correct. Because if you film someone shooting someone else with a Nerf gun, that might get you a strike because it is person-on-person violence. Yes, this is the conversations we need to have as creators. Because I have encountered I've had I don't know 5 or 6 strikes at this point. They've occurred months and months and months apart. They were all associated, with the exception of one, all associated with shorts, and every single one of them associated with violence in some way. Now, granted, my channel is something of a shorts channel, and Odin Sees is specifically a series about people hurting themselves, and so yeah.
Yeah, what I heard was, so I just heard this laid out to me yesterday, and it was basically what Sasquatch just said verbatim. But one caveat that was added to it was that YouTube puts in their guidelines that they're trying to prevent, those mass deleters, right? People who throw masks on and just go around deleting people, and then they want to upload it. So they put that algorithm in the AI, so when any type of firearm is shown live, they strike it. So AI, you can record.
Really dumb, really stupid, but it's only for live streams. You can go film yourself doing some stuff and upload it as a video. As long as you explain it well, you should be fine. AKA Brandon Herrera.
As long as you don't break down. As long as you don't break down your firearm. Well, you got Grand Thumb, Brandon Herrera.
As a video, you can do any number of things with firearms. As a video, given that they can process it manually.
You can't break it down, though.
To an extent, you can, and I'm not going to get into that, because that's gray area. That's really gray area. You can in videos. Live streams, no, none of that. Absolutely nothing like that. They don't even like you. Part of the reason you can't show movies, like let's say you go and you make your own movie and you come back to YouTube and say, hey, I want to watch my movie that I made by myself with my friends and watch a movie. And in that movie, you portray the semblance of Daisy BB guns as your proxy firearms. You are depicting firearms and violence, and that is a terms of service violation. As a live streamer, you cannot live stream a reaction to that video, even if you own every aspect of the copyright. However, you can film it in StreamYards and upload it as a static video, and it comes across terms of service like Birds of Freedom. It's the weirdest thing I've come across. I've seen a dude catch a strike because some moron pulled out a picture of a freaking firearm, and they had to go through the appeals process to say, hey, no, that was a picture. It was just a picture in a book. That whole process had to take place.
So, all right. This is crazy and it's new information to me, but I do kind of understand why. Right, because we've seen on Instagram and Twitter, guys be,
No, sir. There is no explicable reason for why I cannot depict the safety parameters of a firearm on a live stream. I have probably
No, I agree with that, but hold on, just
downrange than anyone in this, and unless somebody here is a Marine, they have a competitive number of rounds downrange to me. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I've got more rounds downrange than anybody on panel. My father was an airborne ranger, and we had our own reloading room. I have put literally millions of rounds downrange. I have worn out barrels.
Can I say something? All right. So what I don't disagree with you, but what I was trying to say is that YouTube is a public company, but they have a company with guidelines, and for you to operate on YouTube, you have to.
Right there on the surface, you're wrong. It is a publicly traded company. It is a private.
I didn't say it was private. I didn't say it was private.
It is a publicly traded company. It is a private platform. There is no free speech. There is no Second Amendment. There are no amendments to speak of at all. No amendments. YouTube, no amendments at all. None. Terms of service do not take amendments.
That's kind of where I was going with it, but you're explaining it better than I was. But that's kind of where I was going with it, is that there's no constitution on YouTube, right? So in general, it's not our right to say that, hey, we can post this video on YouTube if that's not in their term of service. So I get that. But the fact that they still allow you to get by with it if you pre-record it, okay.
It's a little weird.
It is weird, but I understand, because like I was trying to say was the people on Instagram who, like the gangsters in California who get killed every other week on Instagram Live, you know, I can see why YouTube would train their AI to, you know, take out a firearm in a live video, so maybe it could prevent you from seeing blood and guts or gory and stuff that they try to hide from us. That was where I was going with it, but I agree with what you're saying 100%.
Let me fix this. Hold on. Let me fix everything. I'm sorry. I'm a little drunk. I'm going to make this easier for me. Let's fix that, and then we go to some of this. And I want red smoke, damn it. Red smoke. There we go. Bam. Love it. It's the best thing ever. All right. So how old are you?
Who, me?
Yes.
31, man.
Okay. So you don't really have much experience with the world without access to the internet. You have a little bit. Early days, you watched videos, you watched tapes, you watched DVDs, and then there was suddenly the internet, and it became Coco Melon 24/7, whatever it was, the Upside Down Show. You pick it. Where in any of that was there ever a moment where free speech and mass media met?
So during my lifetime, during my lifetime, I grew up with what was that, Walter Cronkite, 60 Minutes, and there, I feel like there was more. What's the word I'm looking for? Jesus Christ. There was more well-versed journalism versus to what it is now. You on mute, bro. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm having a drunken reaction to an email I just received. Vital batch algorithm. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. It's misspelled. Vital batch algorithm hack Google and Apple. Hello, I need to stab you. My cat told me you called my niece a dirty word. And there's an attachment, and I ain't touching it right now. I'll do that when I'm sober.
That's definitely spam.
I don't, I don't make decisions when I'm drinking. Sorry, that's my wife's job, and she's busy.
I forgot what the hell I'm talking about now, but yeah, man.
That threw me completely off. That I'm assuming that was the email of somebody who is either in chat or something.
Oh,
I get
trolling you, baby.
Listen, I get a lot of weird emails. I've got this one. I get this one email every couple of weeks or so, and it's always from a different. I know it's the same person because of the type of email it is, but it's always from a different email account, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. I suspect, I don't know. I suspect this person wants me to read them something. Let me explain. The first thing they sent me was a Gallup, New Mexico phone book white page from like 1966. Nothing else, no explanation, just like an actual no bullshit. Somebody scanned it into a freaking printer white page from a Gallup, New Mexico phone book from 1966. The next thing I got. Random. This is no. At first, I was like, "That's weird. That's really strange." The next thing I got was a Sears Roebuck catalog entry from 1972 that had been scanned in and like phototyped, and then that phototype has been scanned in to a digital format, and that's what I received. So it's not like 2 or 3 complete pages. It's just like a front and back page, and then the front of the next page. Right. And the ads on this, because I thought maybe I was going to solve this mystery, right? Like I was taking notes.
Like maybe there's one number on the page you're supposed to call.
This is a week after I started YouTube. This was one of the very first emails I got, was this really weird Gallup, New Mexico, and then the Sears Roebuck from 72 or 78 or whatever it was. And then the next thing I got was a recipe from a really old cookie book, a very rare cookie book. Now, here's the really weird part about that. My mother owned that cookie book. We called it the Grim Grimoire, and I'm not even joking. It was the Betty Crocker, I think, cookie book. Dude, there's so much sin in that book, it should be labeled as evil. It's amazing.
Bro, you have a stalker?
Yes, I have several. I married my stalker. I'm not even joking. Listen, when I was at that dating point, I was dating several different girls. You know, I wouldn't call it playing the field because I'm a country boy and I really don't know how that worked. But I had a couple of different girls that I associated with on the regular. And this one chick shows up and she's like, "We're going to be a thing." And I was like, you know, I kind of like things and I like some things and other things, and maybe not this thing or that thing. I'm not going to be specific about anything. I knew I was completely screwed 2 weeks later when I was out with my psychopathic buddy. A total psychopath. I'm not exaggerating. I'm out with my psychopathic buddy. His telephone rings. His cell phone. This is back in like 2001, 2002. His cell phone rings. He answered it and goes, "Hold on a second." Hands it to me. "I swear to you, Raju, I could be up a polar bear's ass in a snowstorm. The phone would ring and it's for me. And it's my wife looking for me."
And you said this was in the early 2000s?
Dude, dude, at this point, it's been a fact for most of my life.
Oh, my God.
I'm just good with it. I'm fine with it now. I'm not a perfect person. I make mistakes. I do things that are in excess of things that maybe one should do, right? But at the same time, I trust her implicitly. And I don't necessarily mean like in that whole happily ever after type thing. What is a ghost sapling? I'm so curious. I've been staring at it for a minute, wondering.
Hey, bro, what you drinking over there? Whiskey?
Rum. Bacardi Gold.
You said what?
It's the only thing really worth drinking is Bacardi Gold.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, look, dude, I can't drink tequila. Hold on, Jess. What'd you say? What? Not I. Hold on. Caucasian stuff. Never
Speaking. My girlfriend is calling
yes.
me to take a shot right now. So give me a second.
Yes, no, this is a fully medicinal approach to kidney stones. I am a recovering opiate addict. I'm also recovering benzo and meth addict. And so I don't like alcohol. I'm not a person that likes alcohol. But one thing it does is paralyze the parasympathetic nervous system, and that's associated with the whole urination thing. And whenever you overload with water to pass kidney stones and then get drunk, you don't remember passing them the next morning. How about them apples?
Jeez.
What up, Plasma Void? Jay?
Hey, Squatch, you basically Jordan Peterson, dude.
I don't mean to do that. Did I tell you that Jordan Peterson saved my life?
Did you? Nah, you didn't say that, but I know he was on benzos and alcohol.
Okay. So I had no idea about any of that. None of that.
Oh, he came out. He came out publicly about that. And cheers.
No, I know about it now, but at the time when all of this occurred, I didn't know. So I broke my hip back in like 2009.
Damn, that's how it all starts, man.
It never quite right again, and time passed. Anyway, one day I'm in my living room and I roll over and go to stand up, and my hip pops out of joint, pops into joint. Suddenly it doesn't hurt. For the first time in 9 years, I am not in pain. It's not the drugs. The drugs don't stop pain. They make you not care. You don't care that it hurts. King Henyard, I don't discuss my personal politics in the sense of who I vote for and who I want in a public forum. If you want to click the link and wait around until I go backstage, we can discuss that. I don't insist that you keep it private, although I might tell everybody that you're lying. Just saying.
Oh, wow, King Henyard's here. I thought King Henyard unsubbed my channel. Actually, King Henyard, shout out to you, King Henyard. So technically, he showed up. If he does hit the link, he's gonna have to hit it. Honestly, you'll have a compelling conversation. He will make the show very entertaining. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I'm sorry. I don't have a whole lot of show left in me. Although entertaining, we'll see how much entertaining I have.
I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. If he shows up, he'll make it very entertaining. Technically, he's on a. What was that?
I have an offer for you. Now, I told you I don't accept money, right? Okay. You can search my channel everywhere. You can try to find a way to donate to me. I only have one person who has figured it out. And I'm not going to tell you how he did.
I was trying to send a Cash App, but you got your email there, so that means you got a PayPal, right?
Yes.
Huh?
No.
It's okay,
so what's the point
send me
of
a Cash App? It's all right. You can send me a Cash App. I'll accept it in his.
I'll send you a Cash App, dude. It don't matter. God damn.
I was just fucking with you.
Everybody want a Cash App. Jesus Christ.
Everyone, hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. So when I started my channel, I was going to read Westerns. That was my plan. And that's what I think the email person is trying to tell me, is to read them stuff, because they send me random things. You ever heard the term, I'd like you to read the Sears and Roebuck's catalog. You sound so good. Or I'd like you to read me the phone book, or something along those lines. I've heard these things my whole life. And that's what they're sending me.
Nice.
Anyway, I had no idea.
Let me find out you are Jack Sephardi. Have you heard of Jack Sephardi?
I have not.
Me neither.
Okay. All right. So your name's Sasquatch, but you haven't delved down the UFO rabbit hole at all, huh?
Yeah, son. Like, I mean, how far down?
Well,
I am
pretty
familiar
far.
with the Silurian hypothesis, if that helps. I'm not
Yeah.
against Hollow Earth. I just don't agree with it the way it's presented.
Yeah, no, that's all good.
Actual
Whatever.
Sasquatch experience. Do you know why my we're fixing to do this?
Tell me the story. Tell me the story behind your name.
All right. No. Yes, but no. Okay, so there are two convoluted and conjoining stories that lead to the name Caucasian Sasquatch. One, my brother was born with intestines that were less than desirable, and he smelled like a skunk ape my whole life. So as a child, I called him skunk ape my whole life, so much so that not all, but some of his friends and many of our cousins all called him skunk ape. It was kind of a lore joke, right? Like, he smells when he's around because he has bad gas, but it was because he had stomach cancers and shit like that. And I knew that, but I'm not going to tell them that anyway. So when I started, so I was a troll for 5 years on YouTube. I ran around killing channels.
Hold on. Can I ask a question first before you go too far? Did your brother smell like shit, or did he smell like?
Have you ever been into a bathroom after a functional high yield alcoholic utilized it the next morning, and you smelled that beer and shit smell? He smells like that all the time. Kind of like hot garbage.
Oh my god!
All the time. If you drink,
all right, continue. I'm not trying to cut you off. I just wanted to know that. Sorry.
Jokingly, I called him skunk ape. There is a video of me yelling out, "Way to go, skunk ape!" at his graduation. At the graduation party, there's another video of several people throwing him into the air, screaming, "Skunk ape, skunk ape, skunk ape, skunk ape," right? Anyway. So for several years before I started my channel, I was a troll. I went to various channels. I'll even name a couple of them tonight. I went to RBR, Real Brother.
I know who RBR is. I've been on his channel before.
What's the name of his channel? I always get it wrong.
I never heard of it.
I know it's RBR Network. You mean RBR Network, right?
It's RBR, but it's Real Brother something network. Anyway, that was one of the last channels I showed up and trolled, and I showed up and trolled it as my quote unquote public troll persona. Keep in mind, I had a flow chart and like an Excel sheet to keep track of my troll accounts. Back in the day, YouTube didn't care. Dude, I had 156 functional active accounts. That's not counting the ones that I kept archived.
156?
Yes, that's because that was the maximum number that my flowchart would hold. So I could keep track. Like
Real Brother Radio.
Yeah,
dude,
thank you.
This guy, AJ, this guy is a monster.
Give me a peek, baby.
He was taking opioids to hold himself back from being such a savage.
I know.
So
Henyard, hop up, bro. Henyard, hop up. Oh, Snowman, your audio, bro.
Man, your audio is trash, bro. It's real bad. I'm gonna mute you and bring you back up.
Henyard, I dropped the link, bro.
Okay, so this brings us, like, I'm 15 years old. 1997, the summer of 96, 97. This was the year that I would have graduated if I had graduated. I'm a high school dropout. Does that surprise you?
No.
I made my library card really hard for me.
You say you made your library what?
My library
No,
card.
I'm not on my channel. I'm sorry. I'm responding to King Shannon. King Shannon, I'm not on my channel. I'm on Sasquatch's channel. That's why I dropped the link for you.
Right. But no, wait, what were we saying? I'm sorry.
You said you had your library card. You were talking about the
I made my library card work really hard for me, bro. I used to volunteer at the library to get access to books. And so I would spend absurd amount. Like I had a key to the local library here. I'm in a really, really small town. And when I was young, it was much smaller, if you catch my drift. So like I used to, I ran the one rental store for movies in this town, me and a couple other people that I knew. And I was like the 8, 9, 10, 20-year-old eventually. And I worked through rentals until the end of movie rentals, until the death of video, as it were. And then also during that same time period, I worked volunteer in the library here, which was new at the time. That was a new right? So, but most importantly, when I was getting jobs throughout my life, I wasn't looking for pay so much as I was looking for skills. I wanted the ability to function in any environment without worrying about what would happen, right? So I've worked carpentry, I've hung steel, I've built windows from scratch, both wood, vinyl, and metal. Pick your window, I don't give a shit. I've hung windows, I have built entire houses, I have drafted both water reclamation services and houses, but not houses in the sense of like a suburb house, but like a ranch style sort of outbuildings and stuff like that for a homestead.
Yeah, you're dealing with a parcel, and you have to run pipe and create a foundation. And
beyond that, because I could go out there and run that pipe. I've done that too. But it is more important to understand what the pipe is doing and being able to sit down with a freaking piece of paper and a slide rule and work out how much of everything. Logistics. My actual genius lands in logistics. I don't know how to explain that beyond the fact that I can keep a whole bunch of moving parts in my head in a way that most people don't seem to be able to. And then I can recall those moving parts at any point in time I want to, provided I kept them in the air. It's like juggling, but without objects.
It's like being a business owner who is starting a startup, and you know the pieces of the puzzle that you need, but once you hire the person only knows their job, but you know their fitment in the puzzle, right? And how they contribute to the overall auction event, right? You're basically a CEO type, or what do you call them? Startup type of guy.
I don't know. I'm a problem solver. I work with
well, I think we all are problem solvers to a degree, right? Because I resonate with your story as well, but I see some of the same traits in Jay.
Hold on. I got digressed. I'm drunk and I got off topic. I was trying to tell you about the man in a fur coat that I met in the middle of freaking Georgia summer. My Sasquatch meeting. All right. So I live in a swamp. I grew up in a swamp. This swamp is a permanent body of water that has been there my entire life, with the exception of a single summer. 1997, and I don't know exactly what the combination of things was that caused my swamp to drain. People call me Christopher Robin sometimes. I have a tattoo of Tigger on my butt because I identify with the story of the 100-acre word so much. Yes.
Hold on, dude.
Wait, which cheek?
That's none of your business, sir. You have
okay.
You have to meet me in person for that.
Right. You're going to have to grab the other cheek. Anyway. I grew up in this swamp. This swamp is my home territory. This is where I go. There's close to 1,000 acres of untracked wilderness out there. Some of it's been clear cuts. Most of it has not. Some of these trees are big enough that 5 of us could not wrap our arms around it. I know a lot of y'all can't imagine that, but we're talking.
No, I can imagine it. That's like the trees in Africa.
If you want to know what it kind of looks like, go look at some videos of the old Santee. It's like that, right? Vast water, space between trees, but still there's no sunlight on the water. So anyway. This is the driest year I've ever seen in my history. I have never witnessed it. There's an old story that the old folks around here say. There's always fish in the Medlock hole. So it's middle of summer, August 14th or so. I'm going to go out and go hunting. That's my plan. I'm going to go hunting. I don't remember what I was hunting because I never found any of it, and I never hunted it because it was not there. It was too hot. It was too dry. And we were in the middle of a drought. This is 96, 97. Because I'd always heard about the Medlock hole, it occurred to me, the Medlock hole's probably a sinkhole. There's a lot of them around here, karst formations with sphagnum moss over the top. That's acid over base, and that's the invention of a sinkhole flawlessly. So the old stories are you can always catch fish in the Medlock hole. Nothing ever escapes the Medlock hole. If you're hungry, go to the Medlock hole because you can fish and get food. And about 50 yards away from the Medlock hole, there's a little island. You can go camp on the island and sit there and eat all you want if you're hungry, right? So it took me a while to put this together as to what's going on. The Medlock hole is a sinkhole that goes down to a series of caves. These caves are extensive. They're all under the swamp. So you can pull a fish out of that hole that has no fucking reason being in a small creek or a swamp. None. You can pull a Placo out of that thing. You might pull a 50-year-old turtle out of that thing. It's a sinkhole. It goes 70, 65, 70 feet down. So it's
and there are no channels that lead from outside rivers.
I don't know. I do know. Yes, there are, but they're all under the depth of the swamp. When I fished the Medlock hole when I was a kid, I was dropping a 50-foot line off of a canoe into a sinkhole, and I was floating in a canoe on what appeared to be a lake. But if you go 10 feet to your right or 20
How
feet,
big would
hold on, 10 feet to your right, about 25 feet across, 10 feet to your right, 10 feet to your left, and it's 10 foot deep. Right here, it's like 60. It's deep, bro. So this is a drought. There's no water. There's no water anywhere. And I go tooling my happy butt across the freaking tundra out there to go see what's going on. And dude, it's wild. There's dry sand in places that I've never seen less than 20 foot of water. It's wild. And I'm not really okay. When you're in the woods like this and it's dry, there's a lot of snakes. You have to pay attention. But I'm not paying attention in the sense that I'm looking for ops. I'm watching where I put my feet, and I'm trying not to get in anything sticky or nasty or smelly, right? So I get to the Medlock hole, which I had previously only been able to identify by a couple of trees that are, people had told me, hey, that's the Medlock hole over there. And, you drop some bait down and it goes 60 feet deep. That's how you know you found it. Actually, if the water's at the right level, you can be either upstream or downstream of the Medlock hole, and it will drag you to it if you don't paddle. It's a very gentle current, but it's a drain. Like it goes somewhere. Anyway,
there has to be canals. But go ahead.
At this point, we're talking about the water level being 3 feet below my feet, right? So there is a shoestring of creek running through what is usually 270 acres of 15 feet deep swamp. There's cypress. We're in amongst water oaks. We've got beech trees.
Okay, so you're talking about the drought.
Deep swamp drought.
Okay, yeah. All right, I'm with you.
There's grass growing in places I have never seen land. This is a serious drought. So I go out to the quote unquote, where, the medlock hole. There's always fish. So we go out there. I go to this place, and I'm alone. I'm by myself. I have a 22 rifle and a 22 pistol, and that's it. It's fucking a box, like not a pope fisherman, but like a pocket fisherman type thing with like a brim buster type setup. And I'm going out there to go fishing because I couldn't hunt the shit that I was hunting earlier. So I get there. Oh, hey, Wicked World. I'm sorry. Who are you?
Wait, who are you asking? What's his name?
Wicked World.
I vouch for him. I vouch for him.
So that, and at the same time, I am going to add. Wait, I lost stuff. Hey, I did this. I really like that. I'm sorry. Say something.
What's good, Wicked? What's good, Wicked?
Unmute yourself and speak.
Hey, what's up?
Oh,
That's
okay.
Wicked. That's Wicked.
Okay, so I get to this sinkhole. It's the first time I've ever actually seen it with my own eyes. There are three cypresses and some other type of tree that I've never quite been able to identify because I think it's diseased. It's probably a cypress because of where it's at. These are usually under 15 foot of water. So I'm walking towards the area where I know visually the medlock hole should be over here. And I get to a point and there's this guy standing there, or a safe standing there. He's squatting in front of the water and he's drinking straight out of the fountain. All right. He's like lifting water to it, but he's got his back turned. And all I can see is like a slightly sort of tortoise shell color, a little bit of everything, but nothing in particular. And he's drinking.
Hold on. You said, hold on. Slow down. You said you seen this man drinking.
Yes. Wearing
Describe. Did he have anything on?
Hold on. At the moment, all I saw was a dude drinking water out of a sinkhole in the middle of a swamp where no one should be in 97-degree heat wearing a fur coat.
Yeah.
My brain wasn't working right. I'm just saying.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I was like, hey, man, you probably shouldn't be. And he looked over his shoulder and I realized he didn't have a nose. Like he had a nose, but it was like, it wasn't like mine. It was like really, really absurdly. What's the term? Pugnacious means you have more of it. This was whatever the opposite of that was. There's nothing.
It was
here.
flattened, kind of.
Yeah, not kinda, but like naturally. He didn't have this, right? But then
So he didn't have any ridge. His nose didn't have any ridge to it.
I chose this for a reason. You see that dude with like the little barbells? This guy wouldn't have been able to wear the glasses. This guy, the glasses would have fallen off of him because his nose was too close to his face, right? So
I got you. So the nostrils were more inward, and it wouldn't have been able to fit that gap.
They were wider and didn't stick out. They were this way, not this way. Anyway. Also, he had hair everywhere except the palms of his hands, a spot right here where I have all of my hair, right here, a spot right here, and then right at the ends of like where his lips were, just above, he had two little tufts that stuck out like a Fu Manchu kind of, and then right on the end of his chin, he had a tuft that stuck out. But the rest of it was really short, fine hair, like not fur. Or maybe not hair, but fur. But here's the thing. If homie had been standing 2 foot to his right or 2 foot to his left, I would have never noticed him. He was colored like dappled light and shadow on pine straw, dude. He was perfectly camouflaged.
So he wasn't expecting you. So he thought that he was
totally surprised this guy. In fact, when he looked over his shoulder, the impression I got, reading body language, was disappointment, not fear, not anger, not aggression or anything like that. He was simply disappointed that I had interrupted him drinking because he was thirsty. And when I said, I'll never fucking forget this shit. Hey man, you probably shouldn't be drinking that. It's you're gonna drink whatever you want.
And did he give you that look? Like, he gave you that death stare and just like death stare.
He looked over his shoulder, his left shoulder at me. And that's when I realized that something strange was going on. I couldn't quite that's the sense of deja vu that comes up where things don't seem to be being reality.
Well, yeah, you're looking at something that you're not used to looking at, and you're like, wait.
Let me be clear. This was not Bigfoot. This was not a Bigfoot. This was not 7 foot, not 8 foot, not 12 foot tall. This was at best a skunk ape. This thing might have been 6'5" and built like David Beckham.
Well, that's a usual claim. Like, so, all right, Sasquatch. Have you heard of David Politis? Missing 411. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, bro.
Sorry, my sound crashed. What was that?
Oh, my bad, dude. I thought you were trying to say
no,
hold on for a second.
My sound system completely crashed, but I've got a high-speed method of restarting it. Continue.
My bad. I was asking you, have you ever heard of David Politis in Missing 411?
I've actually done a handful of breakdowns on Missing 411s. If you'd like to get together and have that discussion, we can do that.
Yeah, I watch Dave Politis every day. I'm very familiar with what he does, but I have a couple theories.
Go further, let me explain that what David Politis does is bring attention to cases. I don't care how he does it. I approve of it.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I'm just saying that.
Do I believe
a lot of
that aliens and Bigfoot are snatching up? Just taking them away? No, I don't buy it for a second.
No. I'm not talking about that. Let's not. Because maybe the people who are listening who's not familiar with Dave, I don't want them to think that that's involving his missing people. I'm trying to talk about Dave has specifically done Sasquatch research.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead, bro. Oh no, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
All right. So I started out being a huge David Politis fan. I went to every single 411 possible thing ever, anywhere, ever. And I came across a particular case. And I'm not going to, because it hasn't been closed, I'd never, ever, 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 ever discussed open cases. I do not do this. This is no. I won't discuss an open case. No. The reason is, if my autism catches on a detail and I guess right, I'll become a suspect and I'll skip that shit entirely, bro. Sorry. No open cases. Right?
Right. No, I agree with that.
What I do is I go look at the missing 411 cases that have been solved and then try to retro engineer what sequence of events led to the 411-ness, if you will, of that case. What were all the mysteries about? Once we have a body, we have a victim, we have like most of the details, or at least some of them.
Yep.
Right. And then I try to retro engineer the sequence of events that led to a particular thing. And I used to go to unsolved cases and try this. And as a troll, because I never was sure which which profile I was actually using, I would suggest something that I had noticed into the comments, and then it would become an issue in those comments, because it would turn out that, like, what if they were bit by a snake and just died in that culvert over there, and then they would go find them in that culvert and they wanted to talk to me and shit, and I was like, no, sir, none of that. No, no. Hey, now, what's up, Scotty Waddles? Welcome in, buddy.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I wasn't trying to bring up the missing person thing. I was just trying to see if you knew who Dave was, but I was trying to bring up more of his conversations about Sasquatch and how it's more like a human than it is like a ape.
Okay.
And it seems like what you were describing.
I physically saw a specimen of haired individual from head to toe. The only bald patches was, get this, and this broke my brain. This was one of the things that I don't generally tell people, but it's not unknown. I could see his penis, his face, his palms, and this part of his arms.
All the parts that don't get sunlight,
basically, and they were dark.
Look at your arms right now. The top of your forearms are darker than the lower parts, and you have more hair.
Might have been.
You might have been the motherfucker you saw. It's like, no, I'm just
actually no. There's a couple of jokes I carry along with this story. Typically, he could have been a missing cousin of mine if he was a little. Like, he didn't have so much hair that he couldn't be human. It was just that where their hair was really suspect. It's not a human arrangement. It's more like a orangutan or a gorilla or something, a really old gorilla. Except I didn't get the impression of age from this dude. I got the impression of like a juvenile type. So we're talking 6'5" David Beckham, a runner. Somebody who could straight sprint from here to the end of time. But when he went to walk away, he didn't do the hop that you would expect over things. He did a weird rolling gait. Like he would step on top of something, but he didn't raise his body up like we would when we stepped over something, right? We would extend our knee. Instead, he would put his foot up and just hover over it no higher than he absolutely had to go to get over it, and then put his foot in the hole to take up the different, you know what I'm saying? And his body
that was one of the things that David was saying. Like a lot of times when people talk about these things, they talk about them gliding, like they actually don't walk on the ground.
That's not a bad description. That's not bad.
So listen. What I'm saying is like, I don't necessarily not believe in these things, right? It's just like when somebody asks me about the Bible and they ask me, do I believe in the Bible? I have to ask them what they mean by that, because do I believe in it as in the sense of, do I believe that people believe that it's real? And when people believe something is real, it is real, right? There is energy back behind that, and energy can't be created nor destroyed, right? So when you ask me, do I believe in it? I will tell you yes, but I don't live my life by it. That's a different.
You heard me earlier when I said that I had a different opinion on how the hollow earth is. Like, I don't disbelieve hollow earth, but at the same time, I don't think it is being presented in an accurate fashion.
Okay, I did not hear that, but okay.
Here's why I say that. If you go back and read Edgar Rice Burroughs, he talks about dinosaurs and all kind of extinct creatures and a big sun in the middle of the earth, and you actually walk around the interior crust of the earth as though there's something. None of that matters. back off on that whole concept. It goes more towards a dungeon, and this is going to sound nuts, Dungeons and Dragons approach to the Underdark, in that there are vast spaces under that are occupied by life that we have not explored yet.
Yes.
Are you talking about language?
That's the extent of it.
Whoa.
Hey, speaking my language.
So, all right. So, I'm in the science field, right? But again, I'm also into the certain what we would deem quote unquote conspiracy, but people like Jay and I would recognize, and even Sasquatch would recognize, that these are just co-ops that people are calling conspiracies to keep certain ideas out of the sphere of the, mainstream whatever, right? So I'm under the impression that the world around us that I think we live in the Matrix, just to sum it up, right?
So you actually do believe in the simulation theory? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that basically that the world that we think we live in is not what we think it is. I don't think Christianity is what it is.
He's talking alternate perception theory. This is that we perceive the world through basically a light speed filter, and that the reality of the universe is much more dynamic than we can perceive because of our limits of light speed.
Exactly.
Isn't that like biocentrism, where the universe exists because those who exist in it perceive it exists?
Well, think about it like this, right? You're right, but let's break it down into a more rudimentary thing, right? So I'll get on camera for this. That's no problem.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that basically this is guys, put me back on point of what we were talking about again. Jesus Christ.
We were talking. You brought up simulation, how you believe that simulation exists, and I brought up the point. Is your theory that the universe exists because we perceive it exists?
No, and it's not a sim. We perceive it exists, yes, but it is a simulation. But hold on. Take me off of main screen. My God, because I lost the point of what I was trying to say.
It's all good, bro. Listen, I've been sipping too. I finally found something to sip on.
But hold on.
It's weak as fuck. It's margarita mix.
I sort of kind of remember what we were talking about, but I don't. But
so you said you brought up the point that you believe that we live in a simulation. So then I brought up the point like, okay, are you saying that you believe like simulation is in like the simulation theory? You said no. So Sasquatch brought up the point that you believe something of I forget, it starts with an A, right? But the theory where go ahead, Sasquatch. Look like you're about to say something.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I went and used the bathroom. I've been drinking since like 2 hours ago.
Okay.
So what I don't mean a simulation, bro. But the only way I can prescribe it is a simulation, because that's just the conversation and the language that we would use, right? So what I mean is like, all right, so I know you know this. I'm touching this device right here. You're not actually touching this device.
Correct.
Your electrons are repelling off of this device right now, right?
And if that force field was to go away, then your hand would meld into that device.
Exactly, right? We would be able to pass through shit. We wouldn't even be able to exist, to be honest with you. But that is because of a median that exists. And gravity is a byproduct of that median that exists. And in the 1800s, the late 1800s, we used to call that median the ether, right? But that ether became pseudoscience because we couldn't measure it for whatever reason. But I would argue we couldn't measure it because you had certain investors at the time who was making money off of fossil fuels and off of generating AC power, that they didn't want to use these other methods of technology to be able to, you know, run the world, right? You can make more money off of that because you had more industries. Like, look, JP Morgan ran the copper and wood industry throughout the late 1800s and 1900s, that ran the entire electricity system throughout everything. But he went through the investment process through Tesla, but Tesla was trying to tell him a different way that we can ionize the atmosphere and be able to send energy all throughout the world.
Wait, hold on. Wait, you're not talking Tesla Industries. You're talking about Tesla, the individual?
Yeah, the individual.
Hey, baby, listen. Hey, hold up. I own all of his writings, everything available to the public. I have them.
So you know about the death ray, you know about, so the death ray wasn't, so go ahead.
All of the theories, as far as what he could have done, there is no reason why someone today couldn't extrapolate out whatever it might have been. What's up, Tales told in the dark?
I'm trying to give you guys some insight right now. I work for defense contractors and fucking NASA.
Don't say too much. Don't say too much, bro. I know you.
No, I'm not going to say too much, but I'm trying to tell you declassified shit that people don't fucking talk about. But right? Tesla is the reason why we have over the horizon radar. You know what I'm saying? Where we're ionizing the atmosphere and we're sending signals over to Russia and these long distance. Like, listen, these are the reasons.
Without Tesla, the modern world would not exist.
We could have had it a century earlier.
When Tesla just magically died, for some reason, they confiscated all his stuff that was located in New York. And right after that, we got papers coming out talking about anti-gravity. Anti-gravity was public information.
Let's back up. Hold on. Let's back up before anti-gravity. There is a particular story, and if you're familiar with Tesla, you're familiar with this story. There was an earthquake in New York.
Yes.
It caused the closing of the Brooklyn Bridge because it was swaying too much.
Radcliffe Towers, bro.
Yeah. All right. So there are two reasons that this took place. One is the official reason there was an earthquake. The other is that Tesla was developing a new harmonic modulator, and he had attached it to the grounding pillars of the building he was in. And because he was so close, quote unquote, this is the story, I'm just relaying information I've read. Because he was so close to the modulator, he didn't realize what it had done, because the wavelengths stretch out as you get further away, and the effect is more advanced, right? It's more pronounced the farther away you get from the device itself. The story goes that he ran it for 17 minutes and shut it off. He goes outside to go to lunch, hears about the earthquake that had taken place, went back to his lab to continue his experiment, only to have someone bust in asking what he was doing and whether or not he was causing the problem. And he turned off his device and was like, no, I don't think so. It wasn't me. But all activity stopped. There was not another tremor, not another ground spike, not one. And that is more evidence to it being him than natural than anything else.
All right, bro. So listen, this is how I know. This is why I love science so much. But nothing is a coincidence, right? I was just watching a video earlier today that was teaching about.
That's right.
It was from Bell Labs, right? AKA AT&T today. But this was a video back in I think the late 50s, early 60s, where they were teaching how waves function, right? Waves in water,
waves, period. It doesn't matter what it's
waves,
in.
period. And bro, this is the craziest thing ever. But basically what I was saying is that you can shoot out a signal and divert that signal without a wave conjugating back, like how it would in fluid mechanics. Fluid mechanics, right? So, yeah, but yeah.
So, real quick, only because he keeps on pestering me about it in the chat. King Henyard really wants to know about you, Caucasian Sasquatch. He doesn't want to ask himself, but he really wants to know if you support Trump or not. And I told him just to come up and ask him yourself. Have him ask
that shit
you
doesn't
himself.
matter.
I know, but
let me put it this way:
he's really shy.
Trump is a New York City Democrat. He ran on mid-90s liberal policies as a Republican candidate.
That shows you how far left we've gone, though. That shows you how far left society's going. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. Hey, Sash, I was the same way, but I didn't care about politics before it started impacting my life.
I started my channel in an election year. I had to deal with all of the censorship right out the box, bro. I completely excommunicated the concept of politics from the channel for a full 4 years before this because it just wasn't worth it. Things like and vid and dude, it was just
I get that.
Yeah, my fault. My fault, King Henyard. He wants to know if you know what the definition of a tap dancer is, Caucasian Sasquatch.
Are we talking from a carny perspective or a legitimate perspective? Because what you mean by tap dancer, if you're talking about a carny perspective, you're talking about a shill or a barker. This is an individual you cannot pin down on a conversational note. They are excellent debaters, and they tend to be virtually unlockable on a conversational stage. On the other hand, if you're talking about a tap dancer in the legitimate sense, yes, I've seen people tap dance. What about it?
Damn, yo, you just described King Henyard, bro, to a T. Holy shit, man. He really just did.
Hey, check. Dude, check, whatever. There's a link. I've got another 10 minutes. You can say whatever you like. Bring it.
Bro, you actually described King Henyard. He always calls people tap dancers. It's amazing.
Have you ever worked in a carnival?
No, I have not.
Oh my dear God. Everyone should spend at least a summer or two working for carnivals. Spend a couple of months past summer.
Or fairs?
Carnival. Well, it's sort of the same thing. They're the same environment. But most fairs are slightly more legitimate than full-on carnivals. Okay. So have you ever had anyone explain cons to you?
I mean, it's like one of those things but never gotten a full-on.
No. Has someone ever sat down and just spelled it out to you?
Not really, no. Okay.
This isn't something I can give you in like 10 minutes, like right off the top, but I can give you some like art of war concepts where if you think about them long enough, you'll work it out. So there are short cons and long cons. Short con can get you a little bit of money or a lot of money. If you do a short con for a little bit of money, most people will let you go and you can just go on doing your short con over and over and over again, and nobody ever gets too mad. You never go to jail and you never get charged. Long cons are different. Long cons are something that you lay out long in advance of the payout.
It's like an Enron.
You're not
it's like
wrong.
An Enron. That's like an FTX.
You're not wrong, but I'm speaking much more basically. The idea behind it is a short con You kill the sheep, take its fleece, eat its feet, eat its meat, and sell its bones for profit. In a long con, you fleece the sheep, and then you fleece it again, and again, and again.
The slow bleed.
You farm the mark,
AKA
then take it. No. I'm talking just the very, very general concept of long con. This is where you take small payouts over a long period of time without ever raising to the point of being suspicious. Carney's running a little different.
That sounds like our government.
YouTube is a virtually identical environment. Everybody has a gimmick. Everyone has a grift, and every single one of us is running a con of some sort.
Hold on. That's exactly why I don't want to be a YouTuber, dude.
Too late. Here you are.
No.
Do you have a cash app?
Mine.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody has.
Somebody
PayPal, Venmo, Cash App.
Keep in mind, Rashu, the moment that you sign up for YouTube, you create a channel. You have to create your own channel in order to be on YouTube. And when you start going on panels, you go on the YouTube streets, you're promoting yourself.
I'm talking about being a content creator, right? Because
do you have a chance? Raju, brother, I love you to death. I've been on a lot of different panels with you. I've sat backstage on panels you were on where you had magnificent conversations with people, and I never even came up to say nothing about it because you did well. You did good. YouTube is a circus. This is the circus. The government's handing out bread. Welcome to the modern arena. This is Rome.
Hey guys,
yes, sir.
believes me. When I tell this story, nobody believes me, right? But one time I saw the chupacabra. But to be fair, I was on peyote, so I don't know if it was true or not. I think it was true. It was true to me.
Hey, Wicked. Hold on. Time out. Let's hold on, because we can have this conversation. But hold on. Let's rewind right quick. I want to respond to the guys here on why I was trying to make that point. Because when I'm showing you guys, it's not a persona. You know what I mean? It's not an act that I'm trying to put on.
I do hear you, and I understand you think what you're going to say is really important, but unfortunately, I don't think so, because you are either making content or you are someone else's content. Now, go ahead and say what you.
Yeah, I'm your content. I'm supporting you because I support what you're talking about.
I just don't want to make nobody mad telling the truth. That's all.
No. But that is where I was trying to go, right? Because listen, I'm into technology and into investing in all these other things and whatever. I understand that if you're not paying money, you are getting exploited for data, right? That goes without being said. I don't think that I need to.
But how are you being exploited if you're willing to put the information out there, Rashu? How is it exploitation if you're willingly? No one's making you do it. People are doing it willingly. People that do these TikTok dances and this viral money grab shit, they're doing it willingly. How is it exploitation?
I'm lost.
All right. Let me try to lay an example. I am a flawless
I'm
example.
not even trying to go into this. We were having a different conversation, but I was just trying to say that I wasn't trying to be fake about who I am. But we can move off this subject.
I'm not suggesting you are fake. I've actually watched you in times when you didn't know I was watching. I wasn't in chat. I was just backstage at somebody else's freaking stream, and y'all had amazing conversations that I disagree on some points, but nothing in particular, if you catch my drift. Like, your logic was solid, your foundation was solid, and I have no particular complaints on your arguments. I might have approached it a little different, but you did well.
Do me next, Sasquatch. Pause. Do me next.
I may be drunk when I'm making my arguments as well, so
maybe.
But listen. But I don't like talking to people I agree with. I want people to disagree with me. That makes the conversation more interesting. It's just when a person.
That's why I didn't come up when you were there, because you were making the argument I would have made if I was there. So I don't have to be there. I can just sit backstage and make sure you don't get muted.
I think it depends, Rashu. I think the point you make is fair. I think it depends. When people disagree with some things I say that are ridiculous, fucking annoys the shit out of me, dude. But I like debate. I like discussion.
I don't even remember anything that I disagree with you with. But hey, man, if I did,
no. I think we were. You almost disagree with me on one issue I remember. But to be fair, I'm pretty aggressive on some issues. You know. Ask Jay Rillo.
We have about 30 seconds.
Man, like, hey, listen, for everybody on the panel, man, my goal is to have conversations. I don't want to have arguments. I want to argue points. There's a lot of times where people want to go into personal attacks when they disagree with certain things. I don't like to go there. I'm sorry?
Certain tap dancers?
I don't know what that is.
I'm sorry. Rashu, hold on. Jay, everybody. Jay, you're the guest tonight, so I'm going to give you the final say. With the world, do you have anything you want to bring up?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, as always. If Joe Biden is the nominee, that would be fucking awesome and hilarious. I don't think he's going to be, but let's see, right?
Okay. Much love. Don't let the man get you down and ride out, bro. I'm going to drop you backstage. Give me a second. I'll be right with you. Rashu, tell everybody what you do, where you is, and how to find you.
Yeah, if you want to find me on Instagram, it's Rashu. On Twitter, it's Zen Rashu. But yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. But yeah, man, I think Biden's performance tonight, I just want to bring that up, was just ridiculous. Jay, it's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you, bro. I think we got a lot in common. Sasquatch, man, we gotta talk more.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll be able to stream, early.
We'll help you make content by you doing you. You do more of you, and you'll make content. It'll be a good thing.
Oh, I ain't talking about content, man. We can talk about that later. Maybe not. But I'm talking about just being. What did you call it earlier?
What's that? What I call it
earlier?
Some
type of guest. You said a late night guest wouldn't count.
I do Sasquatch Shills, and it's a specific show that I do where I promote individual channels or creators, or like Lawrence Knight. He's a producer. He doesn't actually have content. He helps other channels make content, kind of like part of what I do. So. Yeah, no, I'm not ironclad on how I do it, but typically my suggestion for next guest for Sasquatch Shills is derived from some of my previous guests who suggest that I host a particular person. He got suggested by Barney, and now that I've talked to him and I've done the show, I know why Barney suggested him. So stick around for just a minute after we get done doing this, Jay. I'm just spoke at you for a second. All right.
I got
Raju, I'm going to take you down. I'm going to let Jay get the final thought, and then we're going to end. All right. And I'll be back with everybody after this is over.
You want me
Good
to
deal?
leave the studio or stay in the
You
studio?
don't have to leave the studio. I'm just going to drop you
All right,
backstage and let Jay have the final thing. All right. All right, Jay. I appreciate you coming in. Much love. Don't let the man get you down. Tell everybody who you is and what's.
Guys, once again, it's your boy Juicy J Rillo here. You can find me over at Juicy J's Hot Topics. The channel is called J's Hot Topics. You guys know what I love to talk about. Geopolitics, world politics, U.S. politics, sociopolitics, economics, finance, trending topics, hot topics, pop culture, movies. Sometimes I get into nerd shit. Sometimes I have debates. King Henyard, get back to me about that debate. Stop dodging me. But for the most part, guys, like I said, man, I just love good conversation. I may have a tinfoil hat at some point, a tinfoil hat night where we just talk about conspiracies, talk about theories, because I love these kind of conversations. It's very enthralling. It's always enjoyable to have conversations. It's always good to have people who disagree with you. Like I said, guys, before, make sure that you have a good conversation. Always try to learn something out of that conversation, no matter where the conversation goes. Try to make the best of it. Much love. Thanks for everybody for having me.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
What are the humans doing?